us. Because your life is private. And unlike other tech companies, we think your internet should be too. Oh, is someone there? Oh, that's none of our business either. Protect your privacy online for free with DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Novo Platform Inc. is a fintech, not a bank. Banking services provided by Middlesex Federal Savings.
Inflicting appalling devastation and horror on Ukraine, bombing apartment buildings, maternity wards, hospitals. I mean, it's god awful. I was speaking about this with our commander behind me here, General Milley. I mean, it just is amazing. Yesterday, we saw reports that Russian forces were holding hundreds of doctors and patients hostage in the largest hospital in Mariupol. These are atrocities. They're an outrage to the world. And the world is united in our support for Ukraine and our determination to make Putin pay a very heavy price. America is leading this effort, together with our allies and partners, providing enormous levels of security and humanitarian assistance that we're adding to today, and we're going to continue to do more in the days and weeks ahead. We're crippling Putin's economy with punishing sanctions that's going to only grow more painful over time, with the entire NATO and EU behind us and many other countries. What's at stake here are the principles that the United States and the United Nations and across the world stand for. It's about freedom. It's about the right of people to determine their own future. It's about making sure Ukraine will never be a victory for Putin, no matter what advances he makes on the battlefield. The American people are answering President Zelensky's call for more help, more weapons for Ukraine to defend itself, more tools to fight Russian aggression. And that's what we're doing. In fact, we started our assistance to Ukraine before this war began, as they started to do exercises along the Ukrainian border, the Russians, starting in March of last year. We took the threat of Putin invading very seriously, and we acted on it. We sent Ukraine more security assistance last year, $650 million in weapons, including anti-air and anti-armor equipment, before the invasion, more than we had ever provided before. So when the invasion began, they already had in their hands the kinds of weapons they needed to counter Russian advances. And once the war started, we immediately rushed $350 million in additional aid to further address their needs. Hundreds of anti-air systems, thousands of anti-tank weapons, transport helicopters, armed patrol boats, and other high mobility vehicles, radar systems that help track incoming artillery and unmanned drones, secure communications equipment and tactical gear, satellite imagery and analysis capacity. And it's clearly helped Ukraine inflict dramatic losses on Russian forces. On Saturday, my administration authorized another $200 million to keep a steady flow of weapons and ammunition moving to Ukraine. Now I'm once again using my presidential authority to activate an additional security assistance to continue to help Ukraine fend off Russia's assault, an additional $800 million in assistance. That brings the total of new U.S. security assistance to Ukraine to $1 billion just this week. These are direct transfers of equipment from our Department of Defense to the Ukrainian military to help them as they fight against this invasion. And I thank the Congress for appropriating these funds. This new package on its own is going to provide unprecedented assistance to Ukraine. It includes 800 anti-aircraft systems to make sure the Ukrainian military can continue to stop the planes and helicopters that have been attacking their people and to defend their Ukrainian airspace. And at the request of President Zelensky, we have identified and are helping Ukraine acquire additional longer-range anti-aircraft systems and the munitions for those systems. Our new assistance package also includes 9,000 anti-armor systems. These are portable, high accuracy shoulder-mounted missiles that the Ukrainian forces have been using with great effect to destroy invading tanks and armored vehicles. It'll include 7,000 small arms, machine guns, shotguns, grenade launchers to equip the Ukrainians, including the brave women and men who are defending their cities as civilians, and they're on the countryside as well. And as well as the ammunition, artillery, and mortar rounds to go with small arms, 20 million rounds in total, 20 million rounds. And this will include drones, which demonstrates our commitment to sending our most cutting-edge systems to Ukraine for its defense. And we're not doing this alone. Our allies and partners have stepped up to provide significant shipments of security assistance and will continue to help facilitate these deliveries as well. The United States and our allies and partners are fully committed to surging weapons of assistance to the Ukrainians. And more will be coming as we source additional stocks of equipment that we're ready to transfer. Now I want to be honest with you. This could be a long and difficult battle, but the American people will be steadfast in our support of the people of Ukraine in the face of Putin's immoral, unethical attacks on civilian populations. We are united in our abhorrence of Putin's depraved onslaught, and we're going to continue to have their backs as they fight for their freedom, their democracy, their very survival. And we're going to give Ukraine the arms to fight and defend themselves through all the difficult days ahead. We're going to continue to mobilize humanitarian relief to support people within Ukraine and those who have been forced to flee Ukraine. In just the past few weeks, we provided $300 million of humanitarian assistance to the people in Ukraine and in neighboring countries. Tens of thousands of tons of food, water, medicine, and other basic supplies to support the people in need. Our experts on the ground in Poland and Moldova and other neighboring countries are there to make real-time assessments of the rapidly evolving crisis to get urgently needed humanitarian supplies to the people in need when they need it. And we will support Ukraine's economy with direct financial assistance as well. And together with our allies and partners, we will keep up the pressure on Putin's crumbling economy, isolating him on the global stage. That's our goal. Make Putin pay the price, weaken his position, while strengthening the hand of the Ukrainians on the battlefield and at the negotiating table. Together with our allies and partners, we're going to stay the course, and we'll do everything we can to push for and end this tragic, unnecessary war. This is a struggle that pits the appetites of an autocrat against humankind's desire to be free. And let there be no doubt, no uncertainty, no question. America stands with the forces of freedom. We always have, and we always will. I thank you all, and God bless you. And I'm going to walk over and sign this bill to allow the drawdown of those materials. And may God protect their young Ukrainians who are out there defending their country.
This morning, President Zelensky from Ukraine addressed Congress in a very moving and very powerful speech, asking once again for more help from the United States, more help from President Biden, more help from Congress, thanking the United States for the assistance that they have contributed so far, but saying we need more. And we need it now. Among other things, this morning, President Zelensky did ask again for that no-fly zone. He did ask for help in combating Russia's invasion of their country from the air and asking for the United States to participate in that no-fly zone. President Biden is sitting at the desk. He is signing this legislation. We are going to have for you throughout the course of the show more on exactly what this all entails. We are going to have on the show Dakota Wood at Heritage Foundation, who we have had multiple times and is just really, really great at getting straight to it. He's going to join us here at about 12:25. So you are listening to the Annie Frey Show. A bit of an abrupt entry into this. This was originally scheduled to air at 10:30 a.m. and I have been sitting here waiting with bated breath to hear what the president had to say. So we are going to take a quick break right now and resume the show in just a minute. You're listening to the Annie Frey Show, live special coverage of the president's response to the continued Russian invasion into Ukraine, along with a response to what President Zelensky delivered to the United States through Congress this morning. Stick around, a lot more Annie Frey Show right around the corner with more analysis.
I'm Chris Walls, and I'm a truck driver from Missouri. For 13 hours a night, I sit in my truck and I drive. Out of boredom, I'll stop and eat. If I'm not doing fast food, I guarantee there's a bag of chips open on my dashboard. That was all until Andro 400. I started out 4 months ago, and since taking Andro 400, I've dropped 45 pounds. I'm sleeping better. There's no cravings. I actually don't even think about food. My knee pain went away. I've had some lower back issues, and I've noticed that went away, and I can only contribute that to Andro 400. One thing that Andro 400 said on the radio ad is it attacks belly fat. Well, let me tell you, it did. The second month is where I saw a drastic change in the size of my stomach. I've lost 6 inches. This product really does work.
So guys, if you'd like to experience similar results, then get Andro 400, the safe, natural, and inexpensive way to boost your testosterone. Go to andro400.com or call 888-400-0435. 888-400-0435.
Hi, this is Curtis Barks. I am the owner of Complete Auto Body and Repair, here to tell you about our touchless automotive service. If you experience the constant struggles of having the kids home from school or just want more of that family time where you can listen to them teach you about what they do every day, we provide touchless automotive service, return the vehicle to you clean and ready to go in the comfort of your own home. Check us out online at CompleteAB.com for more information. If it's not perfect, it's not complete. Others can't compete with Complete Auto Body.
Dad, and service.
Oh yeah, and service.
He fixed the car.
Home warranty. I know, right? Buying coverage for appliances, your heater and AC, etc., from a company that hopes you never ever have a claim or call. Let me introduce you to a real home warranty company, the kind that actually wants to help you. Upkeep Home Warranty 4 times a year to maintain your appliances and equipment. You will never get a lack of maintenance denial because Upkeep does the maintenance. Also nice, Upkeep assigns you one point person to help you. You won't be passed around like an office hot potato, and you won't get subcontractors. Upkeep does all their work, so there's no blame game. Just experts helping you. Visit upkeepstl.com today and type in 971 for $100 off. Don't be denied. Instead, be relieved. Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance, 636-387-7331.
Keep up your home with Upkeep. Keep up your home with Upkeep. Keep up your home with Upkeep, and you'll have a happy home.
File in a way that fits you and get the refund you deserve, guaranteed. Jackson Hewitt Tax Pros can help you find thousands worth of new tax credits. Schedule an appointment with one of our tax pros and learn more at jacksonhewitt.com.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the Mark Cox Morning Show.
This hour of the Annie Frey Show is sponsored by the Loading Dock, River Views, outdoor dining, live music, and overnight accommodations. Visit GraftonLoadingDock.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
In the end, to sum it up.
Накінець я хочу підсумки. Сьогодні
Today it's not enough to be the leader of the nation. Today it takes to be the leader of the world. Being the leader of the world means to be the leader of peace. Peace in your country doesn't depend anymore only on you and your people. It depends on those next to you, on those who are strong.
Ukraine's President Zelensky this morning addressing Congress in the 8 a.m. hour here locally. It was quite powerful I watched the whole thing. It was very powerful to take in his words and his plea and to see him on this gigantic screen addressing our Congress. It was something to take in. Welcome to the Annie Frey Show. Kind of a wobbly start here to the show. A little bit unusual for us to come into the show at quarter afternoon. And we appreciate you being here. But the president spoke pretty much right at the start of 12 o'clock here and reacted to what Zelensky said and made some remarks regarding the newest actions that the United States is taking in the midst of the continued Russian invasion into Ukraine. I'm going to read here from a Fox News report. President Biden announced today that the United States will send an additional $800 million of security assistance to Ukraine, including transfers of equipment from the Department of Defense to the Ukrainian military. The package includes 800 anti-aircraft systems and 9,000 anti-armor systems. Quote, this could be a long and difficult battle, but the American people will be steadfast in our support for the people in Ukraine in the face of Putin's immoral, unethical attacks on civilian populations. Regarding the speech that President Zelensky gave, this is also a Fox News update. President Joe Biden said today that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's speech to Congress earlier this morning speaks for people that have shown, quote, remarkable courage and strength in the face of Russian aggression. Biden called Russian President Putin's military campaign in Ukraine, in which civilians are being routinely targeted, god awful. So that is the comments that have come here from the leaders of Ukraine, the leader of Ukraine, and our leader here, President Biden. And I like you, I'm mostly certain the majority of us are watching with horror what is taking place in Ukraine. And you want to help, you want to do something, but you have to have a sober mind about the movement that takes place from the United States. How do we help? How do we assist? And how do we do that in a judicious, objective way that doesn't put the United States in harm's way unnecessarily? That's a judgment call. That is a situation where you need to put your confidence and faith in the people who are elected to serve this country in times of peace, but also in times of war, to make those wise decisions. It has been more apparent to me in the last 2 weeks than any other time in this president's time in office. And really, honestly, is my time of paying attention to these types of things, which I've been doing at an increasing rate probably in the last 15 years of my life. How important it is, regardless of the political affiliation of the person in the White House, that you look at them and you say, they've got control of this. They're in control. They're making these decisions. They know way more than I know. And at this point, I need to trust that we all have America's best interests at heart. I know that many people in our country right now are concerned about that. It is the thing that causes me to have the most wavering confidence in whatever decision that America decides to move on in Ukraine to stop Russia. One person who I personally have been watching and listening very close to is Joey Jones, who is a Fox News contributor. He fought in Afghanistan, I believe, but in that conflict, he has lost both of his legs. He was in charge of dismantling bombs, and he multiple times has said, when you are seeing these images of what war is in Ukraine, and you're seeing the images of the soldiers, those who are suffering the effects of war, those who have been killed by war, it is horrific. And it does provoke new emotion for people who have not seen those images before. And it is completely sensible to see those images and want those images to stop. But you have to ask yourself, what can we do to help without bringing those images to our people? How do we make sure that what we do to contribute in every single way, shape possible to help the, in some cases, defenseless Ukrainians survive against the whims of Vladimir Putin and his Russian conquest? Consider the tolls of war, consider the images that you're seeing, and understand that if Americans get involved in this conflict, those images are going to have Americans in them. And that's something that I continue to think about every single time I see another photo, I watch another video, I see another report. That's my sobering thought. And it's been my anchor to this point, to go back to that sobering thought. I don't know what the right thing to do is here. I couldn't possibly presume to advise anybody on what to do next. I'm a mother in the middle of the heartland of the United States of America, and what I see is absolutely horrific, and I see it all through the eyes of a mother. And I don't want those photos to include Americans. Dakota Wood is a senior research fellow for defense programs at the Heritage Foundation, and he's going to join us next. And I'm going to ask him to react to the pleas of President Zelensky, who addressed Congress this morning, and the response, the American response through President Biden's words, the legislation that he, I think he referred to it as legislation that he just signed, whatever, the executive order, whatever it is. We're going to get the advisement of Dakota Wood here in just a minute, who is the expert on such things. And if you have questions, I would love to hear from you. The live chat is wide open. The Annie Frey YouTube channel is up and running. Annie Frey Show Facebook page. You can comment your questions. You can participate there and tell us what you're thinking, how you're feeling about this. And please let us know where you are, because it's okay to have differing opinions than other people. It's okay to have differing opinions of me and what I say. It's okay to question the things that I say. I am on this. I'm in this with you. I don't have the answers. I don't know, but I have a heart and I have feelings, and I'm just trying to take it all in, and it's very difficult. More Annie Frey Show in just a minute with Dakota Wood. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie. Here's 97.1 insider Hans von Spakovsky.
They would push through bad bills that would actually destroy the economy of this country and our general standard of living.
Where St. Louis comes to talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
Lakeside Renovation and Design.com. That's the website. The experts when it comes to your home renovation project. Inside your house or outside your house, when you want the best, when you want to make sure that the dollars that you're investing in this probably pretty pricey endeavor. It's not, cheap, especially these days, to do basically anything. But if you're going to redo your kitchen or your bathroom, or you're going to put an addition on your home, finish your basement, these are all things that are going to cost you a pretty penny. You've saved for it. You've thought about it. You want to be responsible with your money. Well, that's why you choose Lakeside Renovation and Design, because it is a solid investment. They have a lifetime workmanship warranty that is addition to the manufacturer's warranty. And when it comes to your home project, Lakeside Renovation and Design is the safe bet, and they are going to do a wonderful job. If you are looking for James Hardy siding on your home, or even those window replacements, I encourage you to check out that fine product that they have exclusively to Lakeside Renovation and Design, Infinity from Marvin Fiberglass Windows, customizable to your home, and beautiful, beautiful, efficient windows. 636-978-5000, online at lakesidrenovationanddesign.com.
Hey guys, it's the new year. Are you still struggling with erectile dysfunction? I've yet to meet anyone that enjoys timing those intimate moments around a pill. Well, now you don't have to. The advanced wave technology at Pineview Medical has been shown by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic to restore and even regrow blood vessels. It can improve circulation and eliminate erectile dysfunction. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED, call us in the next 2 minutes and you'll receive a consultation, assessment, and blood flow ultrasound free, plus a special gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. You're going to love that. Trust me. This is a $600 value, free to callers now. 314-530-7777. That's 314-530-7777. Guys, get rid of your ED and get that spark back. Call Pineview Medical now to qualify. 314-530-7777.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-342-2054. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-342-2054. 800-342-2054. 800-342-2054.
Odyssey celebrates Women's History Month.
Danica Patrick drove to new lengths to break barriers for women in racing. She first drove in the IndyCar Series in 2005, taking 3 pole positions. And in 2008, she became the first woman to win an IndyCar race. She also became the first woman to compete full-time in NASCAR and lead both the Daytona and Indy 500.
Odyssey, celebrating remarkable women. For more, check out our exclusive station, She Sings, on the Odyssey app.
Wealth changing question. Is your advisor giving you incomplete advice? Besides investing, there's also taxes, insurance, estate planning, and other elements that can be stressful to organize. At Creative Planning, we provide all the expertise, all the advice you need, all in-house, ensuring all aspects of your wealth are working harder together, so you can enjoy your wealth instead of worrying about it. Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
The first thing we would have to do is suppress the enemy air defenses. So we'd have to take out the Russian surface air missile sites. And then as Russian airplanes are flying, you have to enforce the no-fly zone. So you have to shoot them down. And we can do that. But then we're in a direct combat action with the Russian military. That means we are at war with Russia. And at this point, I think it is in the best interest of everybody for us to avoid being at war with Russia.
Senator Mark Kelly from Arizona, they're commenting on that no-fly zone request from Zelensky, the consistent request that we see from him, and to what he's saying there, which is what many people obviously agree with. You want to implement a no-fly zone. If somebody comes into that no-fly space, what do? You've got to enforce the no-fly zone, and then what happens? A lot of people asking a lot of questions. This conflict continues to get worse, which is why we ask the experts these questions. And our one of our favorite experts here, Dakota Wood, joins us once again. Dakota, welcome back to the show. So glad that you're here with us today.
Always a pleasure to talk with you. Thanks for having me on. I wish it were a better topic. You know? I mean, it's so sad, tragedy there in Ukraine.
I want to get straight to it right now because basically, I was just speaking in the last segment there. I'm looking through this entire conflict with horror and seeing the images and the videos that are coming out of Ukraine, just aghast at what's going on. And I referred to Joey Jones, who has been on Fox News, who fought in battle, has lost his legs because of it, and made the point that says that if the United States ends up going to war and you're seeing these photos and you can't stand them, if we go to war, those photos are going to have Americans in them. And that's sticking with me right now. And I'm just curious, what is being requested of the United States, what we've held off on doing. What is the red line where if we choose to move into this no-fly zone territory or whatever it might be, that we are putting ourselves in a position to be at war?
Yeah, so speculating here, I think the red line would be use of chemical munitions by Russian forces. I think that would so sear the heart of the general public that it would, here in the U.S., Germany, and elsewhere, that it would compel governments to get more directly involved. But I think short of that, this is just the brutal, ugly, sad reality of warfare that everybody wants to contain it and not exacerbate it or spread it. And so what you were just talking about earlier with the expansion or putting in a no-fly zone, do we really want American fighters tangling with Russian fighters over Ukraine? And does that then broaden the scope and the scale of the war to something much, much larger? Once you start pulling triggers, that you cannot predict where that's going to go or where it might lead to, because for Putin, it's all in, right? I mean, for Ukraine, it's an existential war. This is their survival, but Putin has bet everything on securing this. And so what would lead him then to use a tactical nuclear weapon? What would cause him to do something much more expansive, because he has bet everything on it? For Putin's view, nuclear weapons are usable weapons. It's part of Russian doctrine, and every major exercise they have usually ends with Russian use of nuclear weapons to forestall, their fictional opponent's victory or to secure their own gains. And so this is in the minds of decision makers in all these capitals about how deeply do you want to get forces involved physically on the ground, providing munitions and fuel and medical support and all those other things. Absolutely. We should be giving them those Polish MiGs that have been offered up, the old Soviet era jet fighters. That would be helpful as well. But introducing the military forces of other countries really risks amplifying the horror of war. As bad as it is for the Ukrainian people, we want to bring it to a stop. You certainly don't want it to get any worse. So these are the thoughts that are going on in the minds of advisors and analysts in these various capitals.
So let's talk about the MiGs. And, I'm like learning all about these names that are associated with different things that are used in warfare that folks like me, I don't have these conversations. So learning on the fly, but there are planes in Poland. And, it seems like, why doesn't Poland just give these? What is the United States' responsibility in signing the permission slip to get these planes into Ukrainian space to help them defend themselves?
Yeah, so when we talk about the planes, usually they're associated with the name of the company that makes them. So an Su-27 Sukhoi MiG is a Mikoyan, it's a company in Russia, but everybody just kind of uses these acronyms. So these are old Soviet-era aircraft made in the 1970s and early 1980s. So, they're quite old by this point in time, but it's something, and the Ukrainians need this. The reason Poland doesn't just hand them over directly to Ukraine is it's this risk aversion. They would be seen by Russia as being directly involved in handing over pretty good fighter aircraft that would be, a hazard or a risk to Russian forces. And Poland just doesn't want to be on the receiving end of a missile strike from Russia, if they become directly involved, as co-combatants in this thing. And so they want more of a group agreement. So if it's a NATO handing over stuff to Ukraine, then it kind of, shifts blame from Warsaw, Poland, to this larger collective of 30 countries. Well, the rest of the European countries don't want to get directly involved either. The U.S. had entertained that, but the handoff would occur in Germany. So Germany doesn't want their airfields, bombarded by Russia. So everybody is very skittish and they're very risk averse. And so then we have these 25 airplanes that are sitting on an airfield in Poland, not being used for any other purpose. And meanwhile, President Zelensky, president of Ukraine, is begging for this kind of support. And this is the political impasse that the rest of us, mere mortals, get so frustrated. Somebody act and get involved, and let's try to relieve the suffering in Ukraine.
I mean, it seems to me like what everybody is doing is lacking leadership, that we're playing hot potato with blame. Whereas to me, I mean, if the planes get into Ukraine, I mean, isn't it kind of up in the air anyway if Putin's going to consider that an aggression? And if Putin wakes up one morning and he's got a crick in his back and he decides, I'm gonna take this out on the NATO countries or on Europe or on the United States,
Anyway.
He's going to do that, right?
Yeah. If we're providing weapons that shoot down airplanes, then how is that different than providing an airplane that shoots down airplanes? So here at the Heritage Foundation, we're fully in favor of having these aircraft transferred. The no-fly zone is just unworkable because the Russian airplane that fired all these missiles at the small military base near the Polish border that was in Ukraine, they fired those from Russian airspace. So, a cruise missile can go several hundred miles. Well, how does that affect the no-fly zone? Do we now shoot down airplanes over Russian airspace? So there are all these complexities in these kind of battle actions. But I agree with you completely. It's a lack of political leadership, and trying to keep the worst thing from happening by holding back could very possibly lead to the larger war, because Vladimir Putin feels that he has free reign, and it will just continue to, exacerbate, worsen, strengthen his assault on the Ukrainian people. And it's just like the lead up to World War II, right? Hitler and Germany did things, the Sudetenland and Poland, and seizing other countries. The Japanese had invaded China there in the 1930s as well. And everybody wanted to stand aside and not make the thing worse. And then what you do is you get an accumulation of these things, and you have a global war anyway, where if you had been more decisive in your action, you could have actually prevented that one thing that nobody wanted to happen.
We're speaking with Senior Research Fellow for Defense Programs at the Heritage Foundation, Dakota Wood. I'm trying to understand, if you just gave Putin the ability to just do what you want, get it done with, and then we'll all move on with our lives, what would that be? Is there land in the way of him controlling other people, or are the people in the way of him controlling more land?
I actually think that what you just said there, the latter part, I think is actually more the case. So Vladimir Putin's view of Russia is old Tsarist Russia from the late 19th century, or late 1800s. It's not the Soviet Union. He views a great Russian empire where in that day, the area we now know as Ukraine was part of that greater mother Russia, right? So Ukraine, this little peninsula, Crimea, control of the Black Sea, countries like Moldova would be part of that as well. The three Baltic states, Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia, up into the Baltic Sea as you head up toward Norway, and Sweden, all that was part of that. And so he is trying to reclaim territory that he views as rightfully Russia's from a historical viewpoint, right? Well, that's ancient history. The world's different, but not in his mind. Ukraine has wonderful agricultural fields. It has a large industrial capacity and all. And when the Soviet Union collapsed, Russia proper lost access to all those natural resources. So in his grandiose idea of a throwback greater Russian empire, this is what he is trying to seize. And these pesky Ukrainians that yearn for freedom and democracy and, capitalism and their, business sector and all that stuff, very much leaning west, are standing in the way of him realizing this greater Russia.
Dakota, that question that I asked is what I use to try to kind of get the framework of what he's willing to do and help me understand why some of the things are going on in Ukraine. Because if the people are just in the way of the land and he's willing to, invade a country, then why would he have standards or some sort of compass on what to do to get those people out of the way so he can acquire that land that he wants?
Yeah, there is no moral compass here. The first year he was president of Russia in the early 90s, he was in charge of reinvading Chechnya, and a lot of people have referred back to this. The capital city, Grozny, the Russians just encircled that and absolutely leveled the city. That he would have indiscriminate firing into some of these other cities in Ukraine, hitting apartment buildings, hospitals, shelters. Either the Russians are so incompetent they can't direct their fires, or they know exactly what they're doing. So it's a campaign of terror, and he's trying to coerce and subdue the people so that essentially they sign away their country, right? Either become a vassal state to Russia, and Russia dictates how they live and who they have, who they befriend on the world stage, or it'll take it by force. And so the Ukrainians literally are fighting for their lives. And the rest of Europe, those countries that are part of NATO are kind of on the outskirts, not wanting the war to come to them, not wanting to get involved in war so that the war would come to them, missiles into Germany or Poland or what have you. And it's just this very sad, catastrophic state of affairs where we're watching a horrific fight and people being mauled and having very little means to change that outcome at the moment.
Heritage Foundation, Dakota Wood with us. Last question for you, and it's probably one of the most important questions that I've ever asked as a host on behalf of the people who contact me on a regular basis on this show. I have parents, I have grandparents who are terrified of their children and their grandchildren being subjected to a draft into a world war. I want you to speak to those parents right now and tell them the reality of the situation.
We're nowhere near that. If it was a world war kind of scenario, then the survival of the United States would be at stake. And I think Americans, just like the Ukrainians, would willingly step up to that plate. What we're talking about here, and I think where the concerns come from, is some hyper-politicized sort of thing where America doesn't want to be involved, and yet I'm going to grab your son and daughter and throw them into a meat grinder. We're nowhere near any situation like that. And I think so long as America shows resolve, strength, patriotism, confidence in who and what we are and what we stand for, and we stand up to these bullies like out of China and Russia, then that actually keeps those sorts of wars at bay, right? It contains these problems because the perception then from Moscow or Beijing is we don't want to tangle with the United States. We get our butt kicked. And so we're going to, have our own little parties inside of our countries where we enslave our own people. So I don't think we're anywhere near the sort of catastrophic outcome that people are so concerned about. And I think we're really in a good stead in that way in terms of patriotism. In fact, today is day 3 of my own son in Marine Corps basic training at Marine Corps Depot on Paris Island. And so he's on his way to becoming a Marine. And, his mom and I, we wouldn't be supporting this thing if we didn't think it was a noble work to be involved in, serving your country in that way.
Well, Dakota, your service and your son's service and all of those individuals who have stepped up in peacetime and also in times of conflict, there's just no amount of words that can really express the gratitude from myself from the show and your time here and answering that question, which might seem to some people who know exactly what's going on as an exaggerative question. It is what's on the hearts and minds of mothers and fathers around this country. And I think I'm grateful that you answered it for us. Thank you, Dakota. We'll talk to you again. Bye-bye. Senior Research Fellow for Defense Programs at the Heritage Foundation. I think he's Lieutenant Colonel Dakota Wood. And I hear a lot of you. That word draft comes up in my messages and my DMs from people who I know personally. And that is the concern of everything that's going on in the world right now. People are saying, I need to know what's going to happen with my children. And I get it. We're going to take a quick break. It is 12:44 right now. You can donate your car to Goodwill and get Cardinals tickets at mersgoodwill.org. Use promo code Cardinals. Ryan Wiggins coming in studio here in just a minute for Wiggins America. Let me tell you a little bit about the 1 o'clock hour. Deroy Murdock, Stephen Moore, going to ask him about that Saudi suggestion of maybe taking the Chinese yuan instead of the dollar. What's that mean? Stephen Moore is going to have something to say about that at 1:25. Then we're going to have Thomas Helbig come in for a quick visit at 1:45. And we hope that you join us on the live chat on the Annie Frey YouTube channel right now. Come say hi. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
The Mark Reardon Show. Jack Flaherty missed the second day of Cardinal spring training to have an extensive review of his right shoulder. That's not good, right?
No.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
If you're looking to purchase a home in the Metro East, but especially if you're looking to sell a home in the Metro East, you need to know my friend Jen Teske, realtor for RE/MAX Alliance. Jen Teske, Teske, is a charm of a realtor, somebody who, when you connect with her, you're quickly going to understand why I was so excited to partner with Jen Teske on this show to get you the very best when it comes to selling your home in the Metro East, Jen Teskey's team is going to put you in the best position to sell for top dollar and to sell quickly. That's what you want, right? If you're not 100% sure yet about if you're thinking listing is the right idea and you just want a picture of what could potentially be in your future, Jen's excited to take your phone call, your text, and have her team or herself, you're going to reach directly to her when I give you this number, and tell you what the picture is. It's a great time to sell. And if you want the very best, you get Jen Teskey at RE/MAX Alliance. Here's the number, 618-541-1010. That's 618-541-1010.
You say tomato and I say tomato. Everyone is different. We have different fingerprints, different jobs, different homes, different personalities. We speak differently, think differently, spend differently, and save differently. Why wouldn't our dreams for retirement be different? At Heisey Advisory Group, we help our families put together the many pieces of the financial puzzle to provide a clear plan for the future, embracing the uniqueness of an individualized plan. Take advantage of scheduling your initial strategy session and going through our retirement roadmap review process to see if your retirement dream is within reach. Call 314-328-6000 and schedule your complimentary retirement roadmap review with our team. That's 314-328-6000. Again, that's 314-328-6000.
Heisey Advisory Group provides insurance services. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Here, community comes together and new friendships form. Stories are shared and new chapters written. Activities are limitless and amenities unsurpassed. Here, you'll find thoughtful care and committed attention. Here, you have a voice and are heard. Here, there is beauty. Allegro Richmond Heights, assisted living, memory care. Live beautifully. For a tour, call 314-202-5989 or visit allegroliving.com.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules.
Mark Cox here. Join me and Thomas Helbig of the Retirement Advisory Group for the next Protecting Your Retirement educational event. We'll be joined by Annie Frey and Mark Reardon Tuesday, March 22nd at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. There's limited seating, so go online to retirementkey.com. Here's Thomas with more.
Did you know there are innovative financial tools that allow you to participate in the market growth and still protect you from losses? Are you concerned how all the market volatility is affecting your retirement accounts? Did you know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your 401k or company plan tax-free to protect your nest egg from losses and still generate more income than most investment options? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 or older, you don't want to miss this event.
Protect that retirement nest egg and join the official financial advisor of my show, Thomas Helbig, Tuesday, March 22nd at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Call 314-993-9494 or online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
Bringing you up-to-the-minute traffic like nobody else. Sue Thomas and dependable traffic, driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company. The best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor. You're listening to the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
I could be your security. There's no guarantee on anything.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Lots going on so far in this hour. That conversation with Dakota Wood, I just really appreciated with it. I would really recommend, if you didn't get to hear the whole conversation or didn't get to hear any of Heritage Foundation's Dakota Wood reacting to the current situation going on in Ukraine, I added in there that question about where are we on a draft. I know a lot of you have had that thought, whether you've admitted it or not. Definitely worth the podcast, or just get on the Odyssey app and rewind. But it is time right now.
So I just walked past Hannah, who's back from her vacation. She asked, what are you going to talk about? I said, Senate voted to overturn the mask mandate on airplanes. And she said, I missed it by 1 day. But that's not quite right because it's not actually lifted yet.
So is it just the Senate still? Because people were saying that it passed the House.
I haven't seen that. And I've been looking at articles.
Either.
I haven't seen that that's the case. If that's true, that's great, but it's still got to go through Biden. And here's what's terrible about it. Number one, this isn't even an executive. We've been talking about how it's got to be through Congress. This didn't even come through the executive branch. This literally came through no branch of government. The mask mandate is put entirely in place through the TSA, which is just an agency, just like they were trying to do with OSHA and the vaccine mandate. It's all these agencies that have all this power, and Congress can overturn it, but with a divided Congress, you can't.
There were 9 Democrats in the Senate who voted for it.
There were. You want to know which states they were from?
I do know. I know what Republican didn't. No, wait, did Mitt Romney vote for it? That was something else.
No, he did not vote. He voted against lifting this thing.
Mitt Romney is for masks.
Unbelievable.
What is this guy doing?
And his statement on it was, I just think this is a decision doctors should be making. So he's like, it's not my job as a politician who represents you.
That doesn't make sense.
It's the bureaucracy.
No.
That's so upside down.
Yes. And he's the only Republican to vote against lifting it.
That's Mitt Romney saying that this is a decision that should be made by doctors. So I, as government, am going to stand in the way of other people and make it so that the only people who are making this decision are doctors. And these doctors are serving in government, and they've never treated a COVID patient in the history of COVID.
Yeah. So you need doctor legislators to somehow overturn this thing. Oh, wait a minute. This was introduced by Dr. Senator Rand Paul.
What does he know about medicine?
But what does he know?
It's Mitt Romney, folks. He ran the Olympics. They have doctors at the Olympics. Sometimes.
Unbelievable. But yeah, the states, as you'd probably predict.
I'm mad about that.
Montana.
More mad than I even realized.
Nevada, Colorado, Arizona, West Virginia.
Yeah.
You know the names associated with these.
Well, they don't.
Joe Manchin, West Virginia. Maggie Hassan, New Hampshire. Michael Bennett was Colorado. Kristen Sinema, Mark Kelly, Arizona. Jackie Rosen, Catherine Cortez Masto. I don't know those names very well, but that's Nevada. And then John Tester of Montana. All Senate seats that are up for grabs this coming year. So they know that their states, even the moderates, like these are moderate, supposedly moderate Democrats or purple states. They know it's not popular.
Yeah.
So they're voting to overturn it. Now it's got to go. Apparently, I mean, I don't know about the reports you're saying it's gotten to the House.
I've only seen it in the chat, and that's not enough. So no, what the hell?
No,
CNN sources say.
Yeah, I know.
That Donald Trump is personally going to take the mask off of your face when you get onto the plane. On all of the planes that are flying every day.
Here's what else is really horrible about this. It was set to expire from the TSA
March 18th.
on Friday.
Yeah.
And they just extended it last week, probably in light of this coming vote.
They did only extend it 30 days.
Yeah.
So if you're hoping that there is an end in sight, there is technically an end in sight. We are on day 14.157324651 of 15 days to slow the spread. On
I think that was a Star Trek date.
Yeah.
Star date 14.85.
Yeah, what you don't know here is that days last 3 years.
That's right, yeah.
So sometime in 2042, which is after the Democrats say global warming is going to ruin the whole world, you can take your mask off.
Yeah, in 2020, they switched to star dates because we're not using solar years.
Do masks protect you from radiation? Just asking.
I think an N95 might.
What about a KN95?
I don't know.
I thought at first, like, N95s for everything, and then I was starting to see KN95s on Amazon. I'm like, Amazon would. Just add a letter in front of them.
What does that stand for? Do you know?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that's a Korean N95.
Yeah, I think so. I thought that, to me, I thought that they were like substandard, but I don't think that they are. I mean,
no, they just look different.
Yeah, but I don't know. I remember looking to purchase. I mean, did you like manufacture masks?
Oh yeah. I mean, we were doing all kinds of stuff at the beginning.
I literally had a pair of leggings.
Yeah.
That I didn't like to wear very much. So I cut the leggings, cut the leg into like 4 sections, and we would just wear them.
Like pantyhose, like you're robbing a bank?
Yes, over our face. And you go into
Did
Walmart.
Did nothing. Also, just a reminder as we're closing out here.
Shamed.
Yes,
then I
it did.
changed my mind on
Yeah.
that one too.
Just a reminder, if they lift the mask mandate, you can still wear a mask on a plane if you want to. Amazingly.
In a free society.
It's like you guys planned that.
Deroy Murdock, Stephen Moore, Thomas Helbig in the next hour. Don't go away.
Whoever said the more the merrier sure wasn't in charge of hiring new employees, because the more unqualified candidates you have for a job, the more difficult your hiring can be. And that can make the process, well, not so merry for you. Thankfully, there's ZipRecruiter, which you can try right now for free at ZipRecruiter.com/hire. ZipRecruiter's powerful technology finds the right candidates for your job. But unlike other sites, ZipRecruiter goes deeper. ZipRecruiter matches people with people, and you can personally invite your top choices to apply, because the perfect hire is more than a list of qualifications. It's an individual. ZipRecruiter makes hiring the right person easy, and that'll keep you and everyone else very merry.
4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try ZipRecruiter for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/hire. That's right, free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/hire. ZipRecruiter.com/hire.
Looking to sell your house without all the hassle and pricey repair costs? Great! Because Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis loves buying fix-up homes in any condition, as is, no fees and no commissions. Call 314-782-8000, and Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis will give you a cash offer right now. No strings attached. We buy inherited houses, divorce houses, trashed houses, even those my tenant won't pay rent houses. Call Chris at 314-782-8000 and find out how easy it is to work with us. That's 314-782-8000. Do you think your home will be difficult to sell? Easy. Our team will provide you with personal guidance through our short and simple process to turn your house into a pile of gold. Just call Chris at 314-782-8000. 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000. And let Chris worry about everything.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk.
An Odyssey station.
Asking for help. I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. Ukraine's president makes a direct appeal to Congress and President Biden to do more in his country's war against Russia.
Hundreds of members of Congress stood up to applaud as Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky appeared on a live stream. His message to lawmakers: do more.
This is a terror that Europe has not seen for 80 years, and we are asking for a reply, for an answer.
Through a translator, Zelensky drew comparisons to the bombing of Pearl Harbor and the September 11th terror attacks as he pleaded again for President Biden and NATO allies to close the sky over Ukraine.
I have a need. I need to protect our sky.
A no-fly zone has been ruled out by NATO leaders, but there is growing support for more anti-missile and anti-aircraft weaponry.
Fox's Jared Halpern on Capitol Hill. President Biden this afternoon announcing more U.S. aid for Ukraine.
We are united in our abhorrence of Putin's depraved onslaught. And we're going to continue to have their backs as they fight for their freedom, their democracy, their very survival.
The $800 million in assistance announced today includes 800 anti-aircraft systems, 9,000 anti-armor systems, drones, as well as ammunition, artillery, and mortar rounds. Former Proud Boys chairman Enrique Tarrio has been ordered held until his trial by a judge in Miami, who said he poses a flight risk and is also a risk of obstructing a justice as his Capitol riot case moves forward.
The Justice Department said it had encrypted messages between Tarrio and other Proud Boys members who were invited to join a new chapter he created in December of 2020. The Miami Herald reports that Tarrio is in custody at the Miami Federal Detention Center and will be transferred to Washington, D.C. to face accusations that he and 5 other Proud Boys conspired to obstruct an official proceeding and related charges, including destroying government property.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. America's listening to Fox News.
Your goals, your future, your dreams. These things are none of our business. Your symptoms, your work from home sweatpants, and whatever you were searching for at 1:15 a.m., that's really none of our business. Because your life is private. And unlike other tech companies, we think your internet should be too. Oh, who's that from? That's none of our business either. Protect your privacy online for free with DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Novo Platform Inc. is a fintech, not a bank. Banking services provided by Middlesex Federal Savings, FA, member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
You're making something new with your business. To support you, Novo built a new kind of business checking. Instead of a one-size-fits-all approach, Novo is customized to your business to save you time and free up cash flow. Sign up for your free business checking account right now. Plus, our listeners get access to over $5,000 in perks and discounts at novo.co/today. novo.co/today.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Oh, what a super afternoon of weather. All about sunshine, a touch on the breezy side, but 75 for the high. This is the warmest of the week. Tonight, partly cloudy, 50. Nice looking moon out there. Thursday, partly sunny. Maybe an afternoon shower, though. I think that's limited. 70 degrees. Thursday night, showers, maybe a rumble of thunder. And Friday, clouds, cooler and showers. Only 52 on Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
If it's happening in the world, the country, or the community,
What is happening in the world?
Then it's happening here.
Why would we go to these ugly nations rather than drill more or ask Canada to pick up the pace? So what is happening?
This is where St. Louis comes to talk.
Because it's so relevant to what's going on now.
97.1 FM Talk.
Try to explain to me the scientific evidence that proves that that's the right thing to do.
Right here, right now.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-777-1979. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-777-1979. That's 800-777-1979. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-777-1979. 800-777-1979.
Life happens, and suddenly you need to sell your home. When life happens, for whatever the reason, you need a real estate agent you can trust and count on to help sell your home for the highest price with the least hassle possible. Hey, it's Mark Cox here. I'm sure you know a realtor or two. Everyone does. But I only trust and endorse one agent. Let me tell you about my friend and realtor Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and why you should call. Gloria Liu already has thousands of buyers. She has the experience and the expertise to help you when you need it most. Fact is, Gloria sells 2 times faster for 5% more money on average when compared to other agents, just like she did for Gary in St. Louis, thousands over asking price. When life happens, call the real estate agent I trust. Call Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Running a business comes with pressure.
remote workforces, HR compliance, retaining top talent, you start to feel boxed in. Fortunately, there's Insperity. They put 30 plus years of HR service and technology to work, offering my employees competitive benefit options while lightening my HR load. Instead of obstacles, I'm surrounded by people empowered to be their best. With Insperity, nothing seems impossible. Insperity, HR that makes a difference.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Lori Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
If you're retiring soon, join us Saturday at 9:30 a.m. for your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Download the Odyssey app to listen to 97.1 FM Talk and find content that moves you. Anytime, anywhere. The Odyssey app for 97.1 FM Talk on the go. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is sponsored by The Loading Dock, Riverviews, outdoor dining, live music, and overnight accommodations. Visit GraftonLoadingDock.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
So, as war rages on, what are the other world leaders doing in response? In Britain, the guy with fish and chips on his head actually met with oil and gas industries yesterday to figure out his country's energy plan as it looks to move away from Russian gas. Now compare that to us, where the remedial class known as the Biden administration looks to teenage TikTokers to coordinate messaging on Russia's invasion of Ukraine and blame Putin for rising gas prices. Not surprising in a White House where the only adult thing are the diapers.
Okay, there's Gutfeld saying things in only the way that Gutfeld can say them. Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. You know, the thing that frustrates me the most about this moment in time is that you need to look to your elected officials for solutions to problems. And what we get from our elected officials right now is just a reminder, a constant repetitive reminder, not as to what the solution is, but who is to blame for it. Let's get to our friend, Fox News contributor, Deroy Murdock, who joins us now. Deroy, welcome back to the show. So great to have you back here.
Oh, Annie, great to be with you again.
You know, I want to ask you, there's so many things, so many issues on the home front. Forget the entire war that's taking place in the Europe-Asian area in our globe. But on the home front, it is not easy to be a middle-class American today. And when you look to this administration, instead of solutions, what they give you is blame. They point the finger, and I find the exact same behavior from my 12-year-old, my 9-year-old, and my 5-year-old pretty much on a nightly basis.
So you're telling us that we have a juvenile administration in the White House. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and I get to correct the behavior at home. I just got to deal with it when I go to pay at the pump, to pay $4.50 at the pump to get gas these days. They just want to make sure I know who's at fault, not a solution.
Well, you should be happy you're only paying $4.50. I mean, our poor friends in California, my parents and my relatives out there, they're paying up to $7 a gallon, which is staggering. It's mind-blowing. And as you say, rather than taking responsibility and owning the problem they've created, Biden and company say, oh, Putin did this. It's all Putin's fault. The actual reality is that the price per gallon when Joe Biden showed up at the White House in January 20th of 2021 was $2.39 per gallon. It's now up to $4.30. This is average price per gallon across the country. That's up about 81%. And if you want to take it back to the day that the invasion of Ukraine took place, thanks to Vladimir Putin, that was that was February 24th. The price was $3.54. So of that 81%, 59% of that was under Biden. So he's got to take responsibility for 59% of this increase. You can blame Putin for the rest, but up until the point where the tanks breached the border of the Ukraine, there already is that very significant increase price increase on the part of Biden before anything happened on the part of Putin. So he's really quite absurd and ridiculous to blame Putin for a problem very much of Joe Biden's making.
Even for Republicans to try to make sure that they counter the Putin price hike with, oh, no, it's a let's go Brandon price hike. What kind of solutions are being offered by the man in charge? Because my recollection is day one priority for this president was to stop the Keystone Pipeline and to move very far away from that type of energy production and energy independence in the United States. So for me, it's not just about who's to blame. And I don't rest easy when I go to bed because, yep, I successfully blamed Joe Biden on this.
Mm-hmm.
There's action that's involved. And there are things that the president has done previously to help get us into this position that he could undo to help get us out of this position.
He could undo them. He could undo them very easily. One of them is, as you say, the very first day of his term in office, I think even before the inauguration parade took place, certainly before the inaugural balls began, he killed the Keystone Pipeline and didn't say, all right, folks, you've got 3 months to update your resumes or go look for other jobs. Look, you're out of work. You're done. Kiss your boss goodbye, go home, and you're finished. I mean, it was incredibly unceremonious, incredibly ungracious. That could be reversed. We could finish the Keystone Pipeline and start bringing in oil from Canada, which is a reliable neighbor, Justin Trudeau notwithstanding, as opposed to Russia, which is raping Ukraine as we speak, Iran, which is on the State Department's list of state sponsors of terrorism, and Venezuela, which is basically South American Cuba, which is where Biden and company have been trying to look for oil. They can approve these applications for permits to explore for oil, which are sitting on the desk of the Department of Interior, of the Secretary of Interior, not approved. All sorts of other regulations. You've got people at the Federal Reserve Board who are bragging about their next objective, which is to try to cut off bank access and bank capital for oil companies to be able to borrow money to do the kind of exploration and production that they need to do. It's not the job of the Federal Reserve Board to decide, okay, we're going to try to block access to the capital markets for this industry and improve them for this other. That's not why the Fed is there. They're supposed to make sure inflation goes away and that we have full employment. That's the full extent of the mandate of the Fed, not to get in there and start to try to block and tackle companies that are trying to get access to banks. So if the Biden administration stopped doing this nonsense and let us go back to producing the energy we need in this country, among other things, you'd see the price of petroleum collapse. That means a lot less money in the pockets of Vladimir Putin, a lot less money for him to be able to finance the destruction of the Ukraine, which is underway as we speak.
We're speaking with Fox News contributor Deroy Murdock. You mentioned Canada and Trudeau and, being able to partner with them to bring oil in from their country. Right before this Ukrainian invasion from Russia took place, we were watching with jaws dropped what was taking place in Canada. And it was a stark reminder about some of the things about the United States of America that make us the most special place on the face of this earth. Our freedom, our liberty, the fact that it is ours to give up, but not for the government to take. And American voters have a huge, huge question to ask themselves this November once election day rolls around. And I don't think that that's lost on people right now, even though it certainly isn't the main story for good reason. I'm curious what your thoughts are as we move towards the midterm elections about the confidence that Americans on both sides of the aisle will be able to have in casting their ballots safely, securely, and making sure that the elections are fair.
Well, I think that you raise a very good question, which is independent of who you want to see win in November. Will the process be one in which we all can say, all right, my candidate won, my candidate lost, but at least we feel good about the process. And with the effort of the part of the Democratic Party to increase mass mail ballots, no excused absentee voting, drop boxes which are not supervised, ballot trafficking or ballot harvesting, as it's also known, voter rolls of people who have moved away, voter rolls of people who are dead, all these sorts of things that the Democrats applaud, and they just love this. They fight any effort to clean up this kind of a mess. It raises the question, can we rely on the elections? I think we're in a situation now where Republicans have to assume that they can't win it with 50% plus one vote. Republicans have to win beyond the margin of fraud. And so people will be working, what do I need to do to get my candidate not at 50.01, but at 51, 52, 53%. So we need to work even harder, knock on more doors, make more phone calls, write more checks, hand out more bumper stickers, whatever it is, double and triple and quadruple our efforts to make sure that we don't just squeak in, we get enough votes, we exceed the margin of fraud. Unfortunately, that's an extra burden we have to bear. And assuming we get the House, we can get the Senate, and eventually get the White House, we can begin to clean up a lot of this mess. And between now and November, to the degree anybody can do so, I'd approach your city council, I'd approach your election boards, I'd approach your state legislatures, and make sure that we have the voting system in place where we can have confidence that we actually will have a fair vote, and we're not going to have dead people voting, foreign citizens voting, illegal aliens voting, people who moved away voting, people voting more than once, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We have, I used to call it third world voting system in this country. It's worse than third world. I've monitored some elections overseas, Nicaragua, Nigeria, and I have a lot more faith in the elections I've seen there in those places than I do in this country. And I say that with tremendous shame and sadness.
Deroy, I want to ask you about the way information is being disseminated, because right now people do, on both sides of the aisle, like I said before, have their own individual concerns about what's going to happen in the next election and the next and the next, but also the way that information is being provided to people. We've seen quite a shakeup at CNN with, from the top down, a lot of people turned over at that network, and an opportunity at least for them to reconsider how they do present news to the American people. But we're super partisan in the way news is generally covered in this country, and there are so many different sources out there for people to get the kind of news that they want to consume. That real factual truth and information can be very difficult to find. And I'm wondering if the current state of the world right now, the war, is going to make that worse, make it better, or have an impact on the way we consume information.
That's a very good question. It depends if the war wraps up in the next week or two, or if this thing drags on like Afghanistan or Iraq, and just, the Russia's war in Ukraine is something that's still a factor and an issue into October, November. Independent of media bias and all these other factors, the mere fact that you've got a live war on television means that there's that much less time for stories to get through. For example, I've seen almost nothing about the southern border in the last 3 weeks. I don't assume that the illegal border crossings have ended. I think they're going on. It's just very difficult to get that on the air when you've got cities in Ukraine being blasted in real time on live television. The tremendous atrocities we've seen, something like, approaching 3 million people who've left Ukraine and are now in Poland, Hungary, other nearby countries. It's very hard to get any other stories out. It just basically crowds out time and space for people to focus on other things. So if this goes on and on, you certainly will have the problem of people in the left-wing media trying to hide stories. But even more than that, they won't have to hide them because they just want to be able to get the good stories or the bad stories out, because they're essentially eclipsed by this war in Europe, which is the worst we've seen since 1945.
Yeah, Dora, I'm thinking about that in the context of a campaign here, and how much both sides of the aisle. I mean, if you're in the administration, you are trying to control the narrative as much as you possibly can. You want to make sure that the things that you're doing that succeed do get out to the American people so that they can understand what you're working for. And if you were the Trump administration, you could get that out on pretty much one network, and the rest of them would try to figure out a way to chew it up and spit it out for the American people, or just leave it behind. But if the news out there is really driving itself because of the magnitude of what those news stories are, I feel like what Americans are experiencing without consuming any news coverage, without listening to you and me here, or tuning into Fox News or CNN or MSNBC, what people are experiencing on their own right now is not too positive. And I only can imagine that would not reflect too well on the current leadership.
Yeah, I think that's the case. I mean, when you do get away from the news and you go and run into these enormously high gas prices, you go to the store and you're paying way more for milk or meat or eggs or bacon than you're used to paying. And in return, the prices are much higher than you want to pay or you're used to paying. Products you want to buy are not on the shelves because of the supply chain problems. Yeah, it's like living in a totally different country. And I think people can make the contrast very clearly between how things are now and how things were 14, 15 months ago when the evil, terrible, nasty Donald J. Trump was in the White House. And yeah, he did have kind of a bit of a Twitter problem, but I don't remember empty store shelves. I remember gasoline being about $2.40 a gallon rather than $4.30. We could get whatever products we wanted because the supply chain was working beautifully. And people can see that the huge difference in what our lives were like not even a year and a half ago versus what they're like now. just domestically. And then overseas, you've got this war raging, and you've got North Korean missiles flying, and you've got the Iranians looking like they're even closer to an atomic weapon. I mean, things are not good, and people easily can make the contrast between life under Biden and the Democrats now versus how much easier things were under Donald J. Trump, certainly, and definitely before COVID came in and turned everything upside down.
Deroy, it's always a pleasure to speak with you. We look forward to talking to you again next week. Thanks for your time today.
You bet. All right, Annie. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Fox News contributor, also member of Project 21, a great organization you should check out. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, Stephen Moore is going to join us. I'm going to ask him about that conversation surrounding Saudi Arabia and their consideration of using the yuan, as I understand it, instead of the dollar. I don't even know what that means other than the high-level stuff that I've read about it, not the deep dive. Stephen Moore is going to talk to us about that in just a minute with Freedom Works. It's 121 right now. You can donate your car to Goodwill and get 2022 Cardinal tickets at mersgoodwill.org. You use promo code Cardinals to access that. Quick break. When we come back, Stephen Moore.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show. 97.1 is St. Louis's radio destination for information with perspective. It's where St. Louis and beyond comes to talk. Right here, right now. This is 97.1 FM Talk.
Making sure that you're paying the lowest amount possible for your mortgage right now is a really, really good idea. Stewart's American Mortgage is the only place that you get the bagel loan. And I'm talking about closing in 14 days and refinancing your mortgage to a lower rate or a shorter term, or maybe both, maybe taking cash out to make a renovation to your home or to pay down some high interest debt. All of these options are on the table, and talking to Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage is the way to make sure that you are putting yourself in the very best financial position moving forward, especially when the economic times are so uncertain. When you use the bagel loan at Stewart's American Mortgage, you don't pay fees that other lenders out there will charge you for. This can save you thousands of dollars. I have done it twice. It was a no-brainer for me. I encourage you to consider your options as well. Talk to Stewie, mention the Annie Frey Show when you do, and he'll get you started on your best financial solution for your mortgage payments. Stewart's American Mortgage, NMLS number 226715.
I'm back to doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet Store. Do you have a hard time getting out of bed in the morning because of a sharp pain in your heel?
I did. I had plantar fasciitis. I had a burning sensation on the bottom of my feet. I went to the Good Feet Store, and what a relief. And now I never go without my Good Feet support.
Are your knees and back killing you by the end of the day?
It was getting so severe, I almost stopped walking. I have no problems with my knees now. I couldn't believe how fast it helped me.
You deserve a better life too. Come to the Good Feet Store today.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive, Catty Corner from TGI Fridays, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Deerbird.
Thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Pain relief and comfort to fit any budget. Come in for a free test walk today. Good Feet products are proudly made in the USA.
Hey guys, it's the new year. Are you still struggling with erectile dysfunction? I've yet to meet anyone that enjoys timing those intimate moments around a pill. Well, now you don't have to. The advanced wave technology at Pineview Medical has been shown by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic to restore and even regrow blood vessels. It can improve circulation and eliminate erectile dysfunction. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED, call us in the next 2 minutes and you'll receive a consultation, assessment, and blood flow ultrasound free, plus a special gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. You're going to love that. Trust me. This is a $600 value, free to callers now. 314-530-7777. That's 314-530-7777. Guys, get rid of your ED and get that spark back. Call Pineview Medical now to qualify. 314-530-7777.
Dell's semi-annual sale is the perfect opportunity for a significant business upgrade. Save up to 45% on Dell computers with Windows 11 Pro and get an easy start to your workday. Plus, enjoy special pricing on Dell docks, monitors, servers, and more, all with easy financing options through Dell Financial Services. Speak to a Dell Technologies advisor today to find the right tech for your business with fast, free shipping. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
My leg was painful, red, and swollen just doing the crossword puzzle. I could have put off telling my doctor, but I didn't wait.
He told his doctor and found out his leg pain, swelling, and redness are deep vein thrombosis, a blood clot which could travel to the lungs and lead to a pulmonary embolism, which could cause chest pain or discomfort or difficulty breathing and be deadly. If you have one or more of these symptoms, this is no time to wait. Contact your doctor.
Brought to you by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I don't know why. It doesn't even matter how hard you try. Keep that in mind.
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
All I know, time is a valuable thing. Watch it fly by as the pendulum swings. Watch it count down to the end of the day.
But the inflation is what's killing all of us. I can tell you, the inflation is hurting every West Virginian. And everybody that goes to the store or drives to work or whatever and seeing it directly affecting their decisions they're making and how they're providing for their family. Inflation is the one killer. It is a tax. Inflation is a tax no matter how you look at it. And you got to get your financial house in order. You got to have a tax code that works. You got to fight the high cost of prescription drugs. And we've got to also, we can walk and chew with our climate positions in our country by basically making sure that we're energy independent. We have the cleanest fossil fuels. We produce them cleaner than anybody. And also we have the ability to invest in the new technology and the cleaner technology that we need for a better climate. We can do it all.
West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin saying things that I would hope a lot of people would be able to get behind, if not all of it, most of it. And now from Fox News reporting that the Federal Reserve said today that it would raise interest rates for the first time in 3 years as policymakers look to cool red-hot inflation. The widely anticipated move that the Fed would raise rates by 25 basis points brings to an end the ultra easy monetary policy put in place 2 years ago to prop up the economy through the pandemic. There's no better time to have Stephen Moore, the chief economist at FreedomWorks, and here on the Annie Frey Show on the show. Stephen, welcome back to the show. Things are moving and things are changing. Can't wait to get your thoughts on it.
Hi, Annie. Great to be with you. Well, it's just a very ugly situation out there right now. We got a report now that the inflation rate is nearing 10% when you look at the wholesale prices. This inflation is not temporary. It's not getting better. It's not showing any sign of abating. And there's no sign of the Biden administration to have any plan to deal with it. In fact, the administration continues to say that if we spent more money, inflation would go down, and wrap your mind around that one. So
I can't.
It's a very disturbing time. We're seeing big increases in gas prices. And look, obviously the Russian invasion of Ukraine has had something to do with this, but the inflation, I just did the numbers, 82% of the inflation happened under Biden's watch before Putin went into Ukraine.
Stephen Moore, one of the things you mentioned there was wholesale inflation. And I think that one of my main jobs to try to separate myself from everybody else who's interviewing the smart people like you is to ask the questions that sometimes as dummies, we hear these words and we go, well, I'm too afraid to ask that question or for that definition. But you talked about wholesale inflation, and I think it's important for people to understand these kinds of concepts. Tell me the difference between that and the inflation that other people are discussing at this point.
Yeah, well, that's a good question. So it's also known as producer inflation. So in other words, if you run a store, let's say that, Annie, you ran a grocery store and you have to buy oranges and you have to buy potatoes and you have to buy meat and chicken and potato chips and all the stuff that you have to buy to stock your shelves, those prices for you as the store owner have gone up by 10%, right? So what do you think you have to do? As the store owner, you're going to have to raise your prices to the consumers by 10%. And so, the producer prices usually go up before the consumer prices go up. And so what I'm telling you is we're headed probably, I hope I'm wrong about this, but it looks like we're headed to 10% inflation, which we haven't seen since the last days of the Jimmy Carter administration. And Joe Manchin, by the way, who's one of the heroes these days, he saved the country from that $5 trillion outrageous Build Back Better bill. Have you seen the cartoon? Forget about Build Back Better. Just leave it the way you found it.
Yeah. There's a lot of truth in that.
I wish Biden had just left things the way he found them. And I think we're all disgusted by this. It's all because of a radical climate change, green agenda, number one. And number two, the multi-trillions of dollars of spending. Remember, you and I have been talking about this for, over a year now, that if we continue to spend like this and borrow like this and print money like this, we would have inflation. I didn't think it would get this bad this quickly.
Yeah. I mean, rapidly. We're dealing with obviously a pandemic and now a war. There are extenuating circumstances, but there have been active policies put into place that have caused us to take a drastic turn from where we were. I said this just the other day on this show, that America has no idea how grateful they should be that the United States was in the hands of Donald Trump and his economic policies, which you helped shape, going into the pandemic, to be on such strong economic footing before we took that gut punch that has really been one gut punch after the other since the pandemic occurred.
Annie, I do a radio show called More Money in New York on Saturdays. It's a lot of fun. I love your profession. It's a lot of fun being a radio talk show host. And so, I've been asking for 4 weeks now. I do it every Saturday for 2 hours. And I take callers, as I think you probably do. Mm-hmm. And for 4 weeks now, I've said, please, I want some liberal, Democrat. I mean, listen, I always say it's freedom of speech. I want to hear from someone defend Biden's energy policies. Explain it to me. Explain why it's better that we get our oil and gas from Russia and Saudi Arabia and Iran rather than having it from Texas and West Virginia. Explain how that's going to save the environment and how it's going to help the economy. And nobody has called in. I pleaded with people. So maybe you can get somebody to explain this to me, because the policy makes no sense. It doesn't put America first. It puts America last. And anyways, I wish Americans had been paying more attention to what Joe Biden, because a lot of things he's done, and he told us he was going to do these things, but people weren't paying attention. And so, we're paying a high price for that.
Isn't that really the benefit, the luxury of being an American in a successfully capitalistic society, where we have, the fruits of our literal labor and the spoils of having this type of market system that is successful, that we casually politically get to dabble in these ideas of socialism because we're fitting them into the confines of our understanding of an economy that is driven by the opposite of socialism. So we get people who are, thinking from their heart instead of thinking from their head, and they dabble in this idea because they wear their hearts on their sleeves, and then it gets put into practice and it's a disaster every time.
I can't tell you how many times, people come up to me and say, I voted against Trump because I just didn't like his antics and they say, oh, I like his policies. I just didn't like, the way he acted. Well, that's fine. But, now look what you got.
Sure.
And so these are self-inflicted wounds. And I want to make one other point, maybe the most disheartening of all. God bless the Ukrainian people. They are fighting these Soviet tanks with handguns and are underarmed and undermanned, but they're putting up one hell of a great fight. So, our hearts and prayers and our dollars are headed out to them to help them, defeat this evil Putin war machine. But what's so disheartening is that we are, in a way, financing this, because when we reduced our oil production, we had to start buying oil from Russia. And what do you think that Putin did with that oil money? He turned it into his military machine. So that, to me, is just unforgivable.
Yeah. It is. It makes no sense. It's hard to explain to people because it doesn't have sense behind it. One last thing I want to ask you before I let you go. We're speaking with the chief economist at FreedomWorks, Stephen Moore. When we're talking about inflation, the numbers that we came out was at 7.9% was the last inflation report. That was completely calculated before Russia invaded Ukraine. Yeah. That was 1982. So you would have to be older than 40 years old to understand what it was like to live like this, which I think does explain some people who would be willful to vote for something that they don't really remember being in practice. Explain to me what took place 40 years ago, what that existence was like, and maybe how we got out of it.
Well, I was a teenager back in the late 70s when Jimmy Carter was president. And, it was one of these things that we're kind of seeing now. Every time you went to the grocery store, back then they didn't have the barcodes, the computer barcodes on the merchandise. So that, they'd have like little sticker prices, which sometimes you still see in old fashioned stores. And, you'd go in, there'd be like 5 stickers on the things. And not $1 $1.89, no, $1.99, $2.09,
Wow.
$2.14, and I remember that pretty vividly. And it was just, you felt like you were getting poorer all the time. That was a great quote that you played from Joe Manchin. Inflation really is a tax. And so what happened was people's incomes kept contracting and contracting and contracting because they couldn't buy as much with the money that they were earning. And that's why it ended, of course, with Jimmy Carter losing a landslide election when he ran for re-election against Ronald Reagan. And then the thing that's a little frightening is that it took Reagan about 18 months to really get the economy to wring that inflation out of the economy. And there was a tough period. I remember that was like the worst period for the U.S. economy since the Great Depression. And then finally, it's like extracting a virus from your body. It was a long period. And then obviously when we finally got that inflation out, then the U.S. economy boomed under Reagan and we had an incredible 7 or 8, 9 years of really strong growth. So I hope this economy doesn't crash land. But right now, the latest forecast, number from the Atlanta Federal Reserve Board is the economy so far in 2022 is growing at 0.5%. I mean, that's pathetic.
Is there still time to safely land this plane to not have to go back to that?
I do, but we better get going.
Running out of time.
The act, is supposed to be making an announcement soon. I haven't heard if they've made their announcement, but they've got to start pulling some of this money out of the economy. We've got to stop the spending, Annie. That is the single most important thing. Stop the spending, stop the debt. Unfortunately, last week, Democrats and Republicans passed another $1.5 trillion spending bill. I mean, these guys don't get it.
Yeah. And it's just going to get worse. And we're going to keep talking to you about it the whole time, Stephen, because you kept us on track. Thank you for your time today. We always appreciate you.
Have a good one, Annie. Take care.
You as well. Stephen Moore, the senior economic contributor at FreedomWorks. A reminder, he's got a book out right now called GovZilla, How the Relentless Growth of Government is Devouring Our Economy and Our Freedom. It's an easy read. It's not like a super gigantic size book, and I highly encourage you to check it out. And if you do, tweet him at Stephen Moore and tell him you heard about it on the Annie Frey Show. It's always great to connect him with us there on our social media account with real listeners exactly like you. Quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more money, finance. We're going to get Thomas Helbig in studio here with us to talk about the Protecting Your Retirement educational event. So stick around for that. That's something I'm going to be at. And in the 2 o'clock hour, I have a few subjects that I can't wait to talk to you about. One of them is Ron DeSantis. One of them is about womansplaining, and the other one is Star Wars nerds. Those are the things that I have written down on my paper. I hope I don't get them mixed up. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Got clarity. Missed the second day of Cardinal spring training to have an extensive review of his right shoulder. That's not good, right?
No.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Air Comfort Service, online at aircomfortservice.com, the go-to place for your HVAC needs when you want to go with somebody who you trust. Of course, Air Comfort Service has been a great sponsor of this station for over a decade. I have known them and watched them partner with us on 97.1 for so many years because they're part of our family. And when you have that point in your life where the furnace isn't working quite right, or you know that it's time to replace it, or as we move into warmer weather, I think it's going to be in the mid upper 70s today, and your air conditioning needs to get fired up, you need to make sure that stuff is working properly. So you're going to need to make a call to somebody. Why don't you consider going to Air Comfort Service, who I choose to use, who supports this station and supports this show. It is a way that we can support one another and keep it in the family. And Air Comfort Service has been just a leader, a wonderful, wonderful partner in this thing that we're doing here on 97.1 and specifically the Annie Frey Show for so very long. Corey Malone and all of the people who work there are wonderful people. They're your neighbors. And I highly encourage you reach out to them with your HVAC needs. 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091, online at aircomfortservice.com.
Home warranty. I know, right? Buying coverage for appliances, your heater and AC, etc., from a company that hopes you never ever have a claim or call. Let me introduce you to a real home warranty company, the kind that actually wants to help you. Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance. Upkeep visits your home 4 times a year to maintain your appliances and equipment. You will never get a lack of maintenance denial because Upkeep does the maintenance. Also nice, Upkeep assigns you one point person to help you. You won't be passed around like an office hot potato, and you won't get subcontractors. Upkeep does all their work, so there's no blame game. Just experts helping you. Visit upkeepstl.com today and type in 97.1 for $100 off. Don't be denied. Instead, be relieved. Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance. 636-387-7331.
Keep up your home with Upkeep. Keep up your home with Upkeep. Keep up your home with Upkeep, and you'll have a happy home.
This station is now conducting a test of the
Attention investors. How would you like to collect a government-backed check with secured double-digit returns in as little as 21 days? The tax lien code is going to expose the best-kept secret in real estate investing in a free 20-minute Kickstart video. Text the word INVEST to 26022 now and let their free video show you how to earn government-backed returns up to 25% with as little as $50, or how to invest in tax-delinquent homes that are 50% off market. Plus, see how you can access private tax lien inventory not available to the public. So if you want to become a real estate investor that buys tax liens from the comfort of your own home, then text INVEST to 26022 now and get your free Kickstart video. Text INVEST to 26022 right now and you'll get free tickets to attend a live training in the St. Louis area that will include your VIP tax lien bidder number, a power bank charger, and a tax lien investor kit free to all attendees. So text INVEST to 26022. That's INVEST to 26022 for your free Kickstart video.
Whoever said the more the merrier sure wasn't in charge of hiring new employees, because the more unqualified candidates you have for a job, the more difficult your hiring can be. And that can make the process, well, not so merry for you. Thankfully, there's ZipRecruiter, which you can try right now for free at ZipRecruiter.com/hire. ZipRecruiter's powerful technology finds the right candidates for your job. But unlike other sites, ZipRecruiter goes deeper. ZipRecruiter matches people with people, and you can personally invite your top choices to apply, because the perfect hire is more than a list of qualifications. It's an individual. ZipRecruiter makes hiring the right person easy, and that'll keep you and everyone else very merry.
4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try ZipRecruiter for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/hire. That's right, free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/hire. ZipRecruiter.com/hire.
Donate your car to Goodwill to help people with disabilities find jobs right here in St. Louis. Donating is easy and towing is free. Plus, you get 4 box seats to a Cardinals game. Visit mersgoodwill.org. Must mention promo code Cardinals while supplies last.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studios. Get in your comfort zone with a new HVAC system. Double carrier cool cash rebates for a total of $143 are available on qualifying new HVAC systems. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Back in the car and back on the road. We're with you. Dependable traffic with Sue Thomas. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company. The best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
Look around your world, pretty baby. Is it everything you hoped it'd be? The wrong guy, the wrong situation.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Well, welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. It's a beautiful day outside. I question why I'm inside, and then I realize I have to pay the bills because I have to set aside money so that one day in the far future I can retire, which is another reason why I have Thomas Helbig in studio with me right now, because he's the smart guy. He's the guy who knows. Welcome, Thomas.
Thank you, Annie. Well, it's good to be here back.
Yeah, I'm looking right now at the latest news just coming out of the Federal Reserve raising interest rates a quarter. And, there's a million different ways that interest rates affect the American consumer. What does it mean when you hear them say they're raising it a quarter? What's your first thoughts on that?
Well, they have to end this monetary policy they've had for the last couple of years, keeping interest rates to zero. They have to. One reaction, Wall Street doesn't like when you raise rates because it slows up some of the money. They don't like it, number one. Number two, the Fed just said they want to raise it 6 more times. It's a total of 6 times this year. Wall Street does not like that. And the former head of the Fed, he was just on Fox, and he's basically said we are headed for a recession the way things are going. Now, again, nobody knows if it's going to happen, but there's a big chance it could.
So we're going to talk a little bit more about what that means specifically with you, because you are Thomas Helbig. You are the expert. And for people who don't know, Thomas Helbig has been a partner here with 97.1 for quite some time, a great supporter here. I'm so happy to be able to endorse you, Thomas, because I get feedback from people who come see you and they love what you do for them. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Thomas Helbig, let me introduce you here for a minute. He is Retirement Advisory Group. He is the guy who's going to help make sure that when you are nearing your retirement, which is many of you are looking at the world right now and going, I have an intention to retire at 65 or 62 or 67 or 70, or maybe like 45, if that's what your goal is. If you are nearing retirement, you have a different mentality about what to do with your money because you have less time. I'm 37 years old, Thomas.
You have plenty of time.
I have a lot of time. The ups and the downs are going to benefit me.
Correct.
If you're looking to retire soon, and we have a 2008 recession scenario where it goes way down.
It
and
can wipe out your whole retirement.
You don't have the length
to
recover like I do.
Exactly.
Then
and that's what people have to look at.
That's your expertise.
Exactly. One of the things to talk about with interest rates, another thing that affects when you raise interest rates, your bond values are going to drop. So anybody who has a bond portfolio, and I've been seeing a lot of clients coming in will have a lot of money in bonds. They've been losing value, and it's going to lose more value because nobody wants to buy your bond when they can buy a new bond at a higher rate.
Yeah.
So they have to sell at a loss. So bond values are dropping. We already know the volatility we've experienced with the stock market. That's been dropping. Now, the last 2 days, it's been up a little bit, but I don't see it staying. I mean, we've had a 13-year bull run. At some point, this market is going to turn. And nobody has that crystal ball, but we are going to have a market correction, a huge one.
So that's the thing for me as somebody who is, by no means an expert on this, or actually really many things. When I see what's going on in the world and I see inflation going through the roof, we just got done speaking with Stephen Moore, who is, an economic expert when it comes to these things.
He really is.
Yeah. You're talking about inflation being at 10%, and we're seeing gas prices be sky high, grocery store prices be sky high, regardless of who's to blame for it, which gets annoying to me that we just have a slap fight over whose fault it is. Can we start talking solutions?
Right, solutions.
Politicians, we fight over who's to blame for it, and whoever ends up without the chair when the song goes off, it usually is the consumer. It's not the politicians who end up standing there. Regardless of whose fault it is, it costs more to be a middle-class American today than it did before.
A lot more.
Which means if you are getting close to retirement and you are planning for X amount of expenses, it might cost more to retire now or to live in this middle-class America than it did 4 years ago, 5 years ago. What kind of things at this event that is coming up, which I will be attending along with Mark Cox and Mark Reardon on Tuesday, March 22nd, at the Frontenac Hilton. I've got all the information up on our live stream right now. What kind of things are you going to explain to people that give them that worry-free mentality that regardless of what happens next, you've worked hard, you've sacrificed, you've saved? Thomas Helbig has the plan going forward for you.
We're going to show you different strategies that have been around for 27 years that you'll never hear from your current Wall Street broker or advisor. What we teach our clients is how to link to the stock markets. Now, let me give you an example. When you own stocks and mutual funds, you have an ownership position in the stock market. With ownership comes with basically you own the good, you own the bad.
Yeah, risk.
When you link to the stock markets, which has been around for 27 years, but most people never heard about it, we'll teach these strategies, and you'll get a copy of my book if you come in. Show you how to roll it over tax-free into an IRA and participate. Higher than banks are paying. Last year, I've had clients that earn between 9 and 15% on safe money, no fees. Come on. I mean, that's pretty good. So we're going to teach you that number one. Number two, we're going to talk about the fees you're paying on Wall Street and how to eliminate and reduce some of those fees, because fees will cost you an arm and a leg down the road.
So when we were all there and Thomas came in here, Thomas always tells me, and I don't know if you tell all the girls this, Thomas, but you always tell me that our show does a really good job of bringing people into this event.
Annie, every time I go live with you, I'm telling you what, it just, the phones go crazy and people just signing up on our website at retirementkey.com. And usually we get a good 10 to 15 more reservations because of your live show.
I was told that Mark Reardon had you on and got
yesterday, 7 to 8.
And then you said maybe 9, which I think you threw in because I said, can I say that on the air? Because I want to get more.
Well, it was 7 or 8, but two of these people were bringing another guest.
Yes.
So that makes 9 reservations.
So the event starts, it's March 22nd, and the event starts at 6:30, but I show up at about 6 o'clock, and I will go around and meet all of you. And it is such an honor and a pleasure. And I'm so grateful to you, Thomas, that you allow me to come to this event and meet these listeners, because they're all so excited to meet you, but there haven't been in the last few years very many opportunities for me to get to see people. So if you show up to this event, I want to talk to you. I want to meet you. I want to shake your hand at the front neck. It's an amazing space. And I always tell people there are snacks,
yes,
which
there
I think
are.
is a great idea.
You'll hold them over till dinner.
Yes, that's right.
But we have fun.
Yeah.
I mean, we have
Sure.
we also do a little trivia. We give away some t-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I talk, I only talk for 45 minutes, folks.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm not here to keep you for the rest of the night, but I'm going to educate you. And I promise you, you'll walk out there saying, I wish I would have seen these 5-10 years ago, or I wish I would have met you, because these strategies have been around for a long time.
I don't know if it should come priority first or after the snacks, but it's also free.
Yes, it is.
It's a free event. There are snacks provided, and a specific benefit for me is I get to meet you. But you do have to register, and because space is limited. So I've got this up here on the screen right now. The number to call to reserve, and I would just really like to get twice as many as Mark Reardon. And if he wants to come back and try to top me again, I'm sure Thomas would be okay with that.
Competition here.
Here's the number to call: 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494 to reserve your spot. Space is limited, and it is filling up. It's a week from yesterday. And I'm
next Tuesday night.
Super excited.
Or go to
be there.
retirementkey.com. Once again, that's retirementkey.com. And when you go on the homepage, right there on the very front, it says register for the live event.
Yeah.
And click on it and you can register. That easy.
So Team Annie Frey Show, I need you to show up in force and reserve your spot, and then I will come meet you there. But just show up. Like, I'll be there at 6, and the event starts at 6:30. So at 6, I always feel bad because the room is full. The room is always full.
We always fill them up.
And
try to get there no later than 6:15 if you can, to get seated and everything registered, because everybody tries to come in the last minute. We have a long line, people trying to get in.
And Mark Cox and Mark Reardon will be there as well. What percentage of your audience, of your clientele over the years.
98, 99% are all from 97.1. All our clients.
Thing.
It's a family.
It is a family
Our
thing.
clients are like family to us. They really
Yes,
are. And we're a family business, so it works perfect.
Yeah, and you have a great team, a great staff there. So once again, it is at the Frontenac Hilton on Tuesday, March 22nd. Event starts at 6:30. I'll be there at 6 and can't wait to meet you. So real quick before we let you go, when it comes to interest rates, we've talked a little bit about that. We've got about a minute left here. Ukraine, Russia, that's got to fit into this economic situation for people.
More volatility on the market. It's all creating volatility with the market. The inflation, interest rates, the war going on over there. I'm telling you, Wall Street doesn't like it. Wall Street hates change and things like that. And that's going to affect it.
I just looked at my 401k last night and it was not very friendly compared to the time I had looked at it before, which was maybe a month ago.
Well, just as of Tuesday's close of the market, we were already down 12.5% for the year, the market. And remember, even if the market doesn't do anything over the rest part of the year, we're down for the year. Now, imagine you're drawing money out to retire and you're still charging fees on your account. Folks, there's a better way. And let me show you, teach you these strategies.
Yep.
And especially if you're 59 and a half years old, you don't want to miss this event because there are things you can do to protect your 401k, roll it over tax-free into an IRA to participate in this plan.
And free snacks.
Free snacks.
It's just like, why have you not? You should have just turned the radio off and reserved your spot and then turn the radio back on. Number to call, 314-993-9494.
Or retirementkey.com.
Or retirementkey.com. Tuesday, March 22nd. Be there. I will.
Thanks, Annie.
Thomas, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure. Stick around. Ryan Wiggins back in studio in a minute.
Mark Cox here. Join me and Thomas Helbig of the Retirement Advisory Group for the next Protecting Your Retirement educational event. We'll be joined by Annie Frey and Mark Reardon Tuesday, March 22nd at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. There's limited seating, so go online to retirementkey.com. Here's Thomas with more.
Did you know there are innovative financial tools that allow you to participate in the market growth and still protect you from losses? Are you concerned how all the market volatility is affecting your retirement accounts? Did you know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your 401k or company plan tax-free to protect your nest egg from losses and still generate more income than most investment options? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 or older, you don't want to miss this event.
Protect that retirement nest egg and join the official financial advisor of my show, Thomas Helbig, Tuesday, March 22nd at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Call 314-993-9494 or online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
The disorganization in your life doesn't really have to be there. And I think that a lot of us, I certainly do, you're so busy, it gets away from you, and then you just kind of get used to it. Once you implement organization back in, you'll just be like, oh my gosh, I wish I would have done this so much sooner. The Closet Factory has that solution customized specifically for your needs. And we all have them. Reach out to them to have that solution provided to you. Now, I'm going to give you a phone number here. You can type it in your phone. You can write it down or whatever. But your storage needs, your mess that you need to have cleaned up, it can be in your home office. It can be in your kitchen pantry. It can be in your garage or your storage shed. They have amazing finishes for you that you can find on their website. You can see how beautiful it can be and also how functional it can be. Anywhere on that spectrum, the Closet Factory is waiting for your phone call. Mention the Annie Frey Show when you give them a ring at 314-961-4300. That's 314-961-4300. Online, closetfactory.com.
This is a place where your daily experience is the focus. A stunning locale of exceptional care and attention, where community comes together and new friendships form, where activities are limitless and amenities unsurpassed, and where you are surrounded by excellence. This is Allegro Richmond Heights, assisted living, memory care. Live beautifully. For a tour, call 314-202-5989 or visit allegroliving.com.
The BetQL Network is live, helping you bet smarter throughout this year's college basketball tournament.
It's probably the best betting experience of the entire calendar year, and that includes football season.
It's different when you actually love the sport that you're betting on. To be able to combine my knowledge and then my fandom with the ability to win money is like, that's just a dream come true.
All the advice you need to cash in this March is on the BetQL Network. Live shows every day and podcasts on demand, all from Odyssey.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group. 97.1 FM Talk.
An Odyssey station.
This is a Fox News alert, raising interest rates. I'm Rich Dennison. The Federal Reserve today raised a benchmark interest rate for the first time since 2018.
At the Federal Reserve, we are strongly committed to achieving the monetary policy goals that Congress has given us: maximum employment and price stability. Today, in support of these goals, the FOMC raised its policy interest rate by 1/4 percentage point.
Fed Chair Jerome Powell says members of the central bank moved to end the easy money policy enacted at the start of the pandemic as inflation continues impacting the nation's economy. He also cited Russia's invasion of Ukraine. President Biden this afternoon announcing the U.S. is sending more anti-aircraft, anti-armor weapons, drones, and ammunition to Ukraine to assist in its defense against Russian President Vladimir Putin's invasion.
Putin is inflicting appalling devastation and horror on Ukraine, bombing apartment buildings, maternity wards, hospitals.
The latest package brings this week's aid to $1 billion, a total of $2 billion since Biden took office. Ukraine's president spoke directly to members of Congress today, asking for more help for his country as Russia continues shelling cities.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky was blunt about the situation there.
The destiny of our country is being decided.
That's through an interpreter. Citing Pearl Harbor and 9/11, he reiterated his appeal for a no-fly zone. He showed a graphic video that included images of the toll of Russia's invasion, and he asked congressional members to block imports from Russia. He also called for more sanctions on Russian lawmakers.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. The mayor of the southern Florida town where 98 people died in a beachfront condominium collapse last summer has been voted out of office. Surfside Mayor Charles Burkett came in third in yesterday's election, according to initial results from the Miami-Dade County Elections Department. America's listening to Fox News.
Your life, your hopes, your passions. These things are none of our business. Your deodorant rash, your favorite cheese, and whatever you were searching for at 1:15 a.m. That's really none of our business, because your life is private, and unlike other tech companies, we think your internet should be too. Oh, what kind of dog is that? That's none of our business either. Protect your privacy online for free with DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Novo Platform Inc. is a fintech, not a bank. Banking services provided by Middlesex Federal Savings, FA, member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
You're making something new with your business. To support you, Novo built a new kind of business checking. Instead of a one-size-fits-all approach, Novo is customized to your business to save you time and free up cash flow. Sign up for your free business checking account right now. Plus, our listeners get access to over $5,000 in perks and discounts at novo.co/today. novo.co/today.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Oh, what a super afternoon of weather. All about sunshine, a touch on the breezy side, but 75 for the high. This is the warmest of the week. Tonight, partly cloudy, 50. Nice looking moon out there. Thursday, partly sunny, maybe an afternoon shower, though I think that's limited. 70 degrees. Thursday night, showers, maybe a rumble of thunder. And Friday, clouds, cooler and showers, only 52 on Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Let's just be honest about this.
Broadcasting on a lightning rod.
I would say you're not looking in the right spot because you.
Well, guide me in that direction, Jesse.
Weekday afternoons.
I've already been very sick with it, and I had to take an antiviral
Where did you
medicine.
get it? Where did you get the coronavirus? From your masked child?
No, we didn't. We always.
And I could make a stronger case for them not wearing masks because you've already had it.
Weekday afternoons on 97.1 FM Talk.
Updating your home with James Hardie Siding has never been more popular. With all the options available, you need a partner to ensure you maximize your investment. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, Board and Batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. They also carry Anderson and Marvin windows and doors. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today. sidingexpress.com.
Are you a baby boomer with questions or concerns regarding your retirement plan? How about the future of U.S. tax rates and trends? Does your retirement portfolio fully support your income needs? I'm Ken Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. I can help answer those questions and more. Register for one of our upcoming retirement workshops on Thursday, March 24th or Tuesday, March 29th from 6 to 8:30 p.m. This 2.5-hour workshop will cover 3 essentials: income planning, investment planning, and tax-efficient strategies. Call now to register at 314-328-6000. Again, 314-328-6000. If you have the slightest doubt about your retirement plan, or if you don't have a retirement plan, this workshop is designed for you. Seating is limited, so call now to register at 314-328-6000.
Heisey Advisory Group provides insurance services but may not give tax advice. Firm is not affiliated with the U.S. government. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC. Investing involves risk.
Attention business owners. This is a public awareness message from the ThrottleNet cybersecurity team. The war against hackers and ransomware is underway. The only way to prevent the war from impacting your business is to speak with the ThrottleNet cybersecurity team immediately. You need to act now. The ThrottleNet cybersecurity team is prepared to protect you against cyber threats. Schedule a meeting right away by visiting throttlenet.com/cyberwar.
Need to spring back into hiring season? You need Indeed, the smart hiring platform that delivers 4 times more hires than all other sites combined. According to Talent Nest, post a job and hire ASAP. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
With Odyssey music stations, there's a different station for every taste, and they're all free. Listen to 97.1 live on your phone, or browse the selection of music stations and make a soundtrack to your workday. It's all at Odyssey.com. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is sponsored by The Loading Dock, River Views, outdoor dining, live music, and overnight accommodations. Visit GraftonLoadingDock.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We are happy to be spending your Wednesday afternoon with you. Thank you for inviting us into your afternoon. Hannah's back from Florida, and I always question people's judgment when they come back from Florida. You should have just stayed there, and not because it's definitely better for me and for the show when Hannah is here, but it's Florida. How was it?
It was amazing. I went to the Keys, and I've never been there before, and it was beautiful. Clean beach, great people, great weather, no mask. It was really a good time.
Yeah.
It's hard to come back, but
you said it was the right amount of time, though.
Yeah, it was the right amount of time. Like, we got our beach fix. Everybody got their sunburns, and yeah.
Just a good time.
It was.
All right. So we have a poll up on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. It's right there in the Annie Frey YouTube live chat that you can vote it in. And we're going to have Hannah tell us a little bit about that poll and then come update us at the end of the show to give us the results. And it's a poll that I put up last night. These polls will be put up the night before. You can set a reminder to watch the YouTube live the next day. What is the question and what are the options for people who haven't gone to vote yet?
So the question is, what is your biggest concern today? And this was hard for me to vote. The options are World War III, the economy, race relations, or government overreach.
World War III, the economy, race relations, and government overreach. You got a thought on that, Ryan? Biggest concern for you?
For me personally, economy. Simply because it hits my pocketbook and I got to deal with it so much more often than the other things.
What about you, Brad?
It's the economy as well, because I think those other things will fall in line if the economy is well.
I don't think that World War III falls in line if the economy is well, and I don't think that the economy will be well if World War III hits. That's the one that I picked. That's my biggest concern. It's interesting because 3 weeks ago, how long have we been doing this now? 3 weeks, maybe?
Yeah, roughly.
So a month ago, I think it would have been government overreach. because we were looking at Canada and we were seeing the truckers that were doing what they were doing in Canada. And everybody was kind of going, whoa, this is Canada. Look at them. And comparative to what we were existing here in the United States, there were still a lot of mandates that were in place. And then all of a sudden, tick, 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 they all started to fall off. So I think that government overreach is very close. I do believe that there are still people who are squarely focused on that, but it is hard to avoid the economy.
Yeah, government overreach would have been my second pick, just because it's been, you're right, over probably a couple months where it's transitioned from, the COVID stuff for 2 years. That's really all we were dealing with is how is the government responding to this virus? And that would have been number one. Well, in the midst of that, what they did because of government overreach, now we have a lot of problems with the economy. So now the economy is the top issue.
Chris on Facebook points out that COVID was not one of the options that I put. I could only put 4. And I'm going to be honest, it never even occurred to me.
Good. That's a sign of the times.
Yeah. Or at least where I am at this time. I mean, I know there are other people who would still be, isn't it like, look at the problems of the world right now. Isn't it a little ridiculous to think that you should be holed up in your house afraid of this virus? You were just in Florida. What Florida is doing right now, they were doing in June of 2020, not 2021, in June of 2020. And I know this because Illinois has basically been on lockdown until like a month ago. And the only reason Pritzker lifted that is because he lost 3 times, 3 strikes and you're out, governor, to the challenge to the school mask mandate. And obviously across the country, Democrats got the memo. This is not popular and this is going to politically hurt you, which is interesting that COVID is affected by political whims, but yet here we are. So in 2020, June of 2020, my recollection is that June 3rd was when Ron DeSantis said, we're going back. You can choose what you want to do. We're going to make vaccines available. He did all of that. Masks weren't required. And my husband and I said, let's go to Florida. Let's get in the car, go visit his brother and our sister-in-law and see our niece and nephew. And let's just go. And we didn't plan anything out. We left 2 days after we had that thought and it was open. And that was 2020.
That's incredible. I don't have these numbers in front of me, but the last time I looked at them, which was probably 3 or 4 months ago, one of the biggest underreported stories and really storylines, we've talked about it, but there hasn't been a lot of discussion outside of these hollows right here. What do states that were open early like Florida? What's the difference in their COVID numbers?
It's amazing. I just saw, I don't know if I retweet. Did I retweet that? You get all my tweets. A graph of the states and what they did and how they reacted. And there's no scientific evidence that says that the sacrifice that was made on the backs of businesses, on the backs of workers, on the backs of people who had to stay at home, potentially give up jobs so that their children could be educated at home and sacrifice children's education. Oh my gosh. I mean, it could be somewhere around the crime of the century.
Yeah, it's amazing. And you can adjust. And like I said, it's been a couple months since I've looked at these stats, but you can adjust it for climate. You can adjust it for population. You can adjust it for anything you want. And it all ends up about even, no matter which way you look at it.
Yeah. And even if you wanted to invest all your efforts into the political fist pounding that most people are trying to look for when they look at these graphs, to suggest that the left, you can't.
No.
You can bend, you can break, you can massage, you can twist, you can turn. You can't do it.
That's why all the reports for over a year and a half were, there's a spike here right now. Right now, let's take a snapshot of things at this moment and then amplify that. They would never do it in context of the overall thing.
Okay, Hannah, people are responding right now and talking about what their vote is and why. You want to go monitor those?
I will.
Throw them up on the screen as people comment so that people can have their comment be seen by the rest of the people viewing here. The question is, what's your biggest concern today? World War III, the economy, racial relations,
and government overreach.
I made the poll and I have to remember what I wrote. All right. Thank you, Hannah. We appreciate that. And welcome back. Very glad to have you, as are the people who are commenting here on the live stream. So speaking of Florida and speaking of the decision, the direction that Florida took, it is no uncommon thing for us to be talking about Ron DeSantis on the show. And one of the biggest things that he has done lately was push back against the Don't Say Gay
I also
bill.
think that you have companies like a Disney that are going to say and criticize parents' rights. They're going to criticize the fact that we don't want transgenderism in kindergarten and first grade classrooms. If that's the hill that they're going to die on, then how do they possibly explain lining their pockets with their relationship from the Communist Party of China? Because that's what they do, and they make a fortune, and they don't say a word about the really brutal practices that you see over there at the hands of the CCP. And so in Florida, our policy is going to be based on the best interest of Florida citizens, not on the musing of global corporations.
So the parental rights in education bill that was passed by the House, passed by the Senate, signed by the governor, was labeled the Don't Say Gay bill. And I have been thinking about this a lot because the way that the governor has handled this has been, to me, such a map for how conservatives need to handle the coming months and years when it comes to standing for something instead of constantly blocking against something that is being thrown at them. And while I'm thinking about this, it occurred to me that none of this Don't Say Gay bill, I mean, if you read the bill, it's obvious. Anybody who can read can look at that bill and know that it has nothing to do with not being able to say gay or saying anything bad about people who have alternative lifestyles to the traditional heterosexual, nuclear family. It doesn't say anything about that in that bill. It's a 7-page bill. If you Google hard enough, or if you just DuckDuckGo one time, you will be able to find the literature of that bill and read it for yourself. None of what is taking place in the wake of this bill being passed and the labeling of Don't Say Gay has anything to do with helping that community. That's not what it's about. It's not about this bill. It's not about this moment in time. This whole thing, this whole political circus, put a tent on it, is about 2024. I promise you this. When Ron DeSantis runs for president in 2024, it is my belief that he will be the nominee. It is also my belief that that will be something that is blessed by Donald Trump. And I know that right now that's probably hard to imagine. I'm just predicting that if I'm wrong and Donald Trump runs and wins, I'm a happy camper. Ron DeSantis is my pick, not because I hate Trump, but because I really just think he's the man for this time. It is not about this moment in time. What they are doing is creating a national narrative around Ron DeSantis as somebody who hates gay people. The Don't Say Gay bill is not about helping these families. It's not about protecting kids who have 2 dads or 2 moms. It's not about making sure that we are, trying to be inclusive in Florida. It's not about trying to reach these families that are being excluded by this bill in their mind. It's about 2024. And I promise you this, when you start seeing presidential campaign ads against Ron DeSantis, this moment in time is the predicate for people on the left who do this for a living to establish that very, very easy and lazy assessment of what it means to be the Republican Party. This is not just about Ron DeSantis. This is about you. If you hold conservative ideals, if you're a Republican, and if you also happen to not hate gay people, like the most of us here, me included, if you are somebody who doesn't really feel that it's your right to infringe upon somebody and how they are living their lives, and this doesn't have to do about that community, what they are doing in Florida right now is to make sure that anybody who is new to the voting cycle and the election process, that they understand that old trope about Republicans and how they feel about anybody who may be different than them. And that is the extent of the effort that a lot of people on the left will make when it comes to trying to get whoever the Democrat is elected. Any of them. All you need to know about that Republican guy is that he hates gay people. He hates people that are different than himself, and he did this in 2022 to prove it, and we have the receipts. The Don't Say Gay bill, and nobody in 2024 is going to go back and read the Don't Say Gay bill. And the Republicans are going to go, that's not what the bill says. Read the bill, blah, blah, blah. Nobody's reading the bill. The narrative starts now. Like any really, really professional gaslighter, you start laying the bricks in the road right now. And by the time we get to 2024, the path is fortified and it's well trodden. They've been there. They remember it. There's something to recall. And that's what they're going to use to try to beat him in 2024. And that's how you know that they are scared to death of him. They are 2 years in advance.
Yep. It's all naming and framing. And that Democrats are so good at it. They grabbed a really catchy name here, and it's all to frame DeSantis as exactly what you just said, because they're scared of him. I think you're right about him being the guy. Now, regardless, I'm not concerned whether it's Trump or DeSantis. Either way, I'm fine with it. But he and Trump are both really good at seeing that coming and grabbing that narrative and saying, nope, you're not going to get away with it.
Which is why I will keep that clip in my pocket for 2.5 years and play it every chance I get. Because he says, oh, you want to attack me like this? Well, I'm not playing your game. Yep. I'm not doing it. What we aren't doing in Florida is educating kindergarten through third graders about sexual orientation and activities. It doesn't belong in the classroom. It is age inappropriate. And, for the record, that includes talking about, let's talk about being heterosexual and what that means. That doesn't exist and it doesn't belong in that classroom. It's part of the whole thing. It's all in there. Ron DeSantis knows it. And here's the key. Thank God Ron DeSantis knows that you know it. And he's willing to rely on you and your own common sense and treat you like the voting adult that you are and go there instead of spoon feed you the little things that you need to know that he's a nice guy. And I don't hate gay people. I have gay friends. So don't go there. I have binders of women. Binders of them. That went well. Thank you for that, Mitt Romney. Ron DeSantis, his smartest move is to trust the American people to be grown adults. And boy, do we freaking need that, because everything we get out of this administration right now is head patting and deflection and gaslighting. There's a press briefing going on right now, and I promise you it's taking place in this very moment. We're not going to listen to it because it makes me sick.
Okay, good piece.
Unless you want to.
We'll monitor it, see if anything's going on. I don't think, based on everything that's happened so far today, that they're going to make any major announcements. So,
and by that, monitor it. If somebody tweets us something big, we might go back and look at it.
Yeah, maybe.
We're not listening to it during the show. Because I still have written on my sheet, woman-splaining, Star Wars nerds, and bleeders.
Ooh. There's a couple of those that I really want to talk about.
That was the creepiest I've ever seen you.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Which one?
It ain't Star Wars nerds.
As Brad slowly unzips his jacket.
Yeah, and leaves because he wants to talk about Star Wars all the time.
You can hear that. That's probably like ASMR for people. You can really tell what Brad's into because he's wearing a Star Wars shirt. And I didn't know this, but Ryan is really into big wheels.
Yeah, my penny farthing bike on my shirt.
I don't even know what it's called.
It's a big wheel bike.
It's a big wheel. I had a Cabbage Patch Kids one when I was a kid and a Batman. That's what we had.
Toys or bikes? You had
big wheels.
Oh, yeah?
You know the big wheels.
Yeah, definitely.
That big wheel is like...
I had a Sesame Street one.
Yeah? Brad?
I had one as well. I don't remember which one it was, though, because the stickers all fell off because we left it outside.
It was probably one of those knockoff ones. It was the sort of big wheel.
No, it was really a big wheel. But
it probably wasn't that big.
We'll compare sizes on the break. We'll be right back to the way.
She's a crazy noise. She's a powerful force. The universe to come on when there's no other cause. She used to look good to me, but now I find her.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show.
Simply irresistible.
Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Simply irresistible.
Shows that make a difference. Mark Cox, Brian Kilmeade, Annie Frey, Mark Reardon and Dana Lash, Heidi Harris, Wiggins America. Where St. Louis comes to talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65. I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, healthcare, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, the 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
Feeling the pinch of higher prices?
Golden Oak Lending can save you money with their low 2.25% rate.
James Hawkins here, president of Golden Oak. Offset high prices with lower monthly payments or turn your home equity into cash.
Lock in this low rate while you can. Call 314-567-GOLD today.
Golden Oak Landing, join my blues.
NMLS 114937, 2.25% fixed, 3.336% APR, FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
Looking to sell your house without all the hassle and pricey repair costs? Great! Because Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis loves buying fix-up homes in any condition, as is, no fees and no commissions. Call 314-782-8000, and Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis will give you a cash offer right now. No strings attached. We buy inherited houses, divorce houses, trashed houses, even those my tenant won't pay rent houses. Call Chris at 314-782-8000 and find out how easy it is to work with us. That's 314-782-8000. Do you think your home will be difficult to sell? Easy. Our team will provide you with personal guidance through our short and simple process to turn your house into a pile of gold. Just call Chris at 314-782-8000. 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000. And let Chris worry about everything.
Springtime in St. Louis, and if you hate to paint, do what your neighbor Mr. Rob Miller from Harvesttown Auto Body in St. Peters did. He called Rhino Shield. Rob, what was the thought process for going with Rhino Shield as a business owner?
My family's business is over 10,000 square feet, and it did not have the curb appeal I wanted.
Rob, tell everyone how the experience was with Rhino Shield from start to finish.
The process that I liked was when you came out, you gave me all of these options that would fit my building. Our building was really faded. I don't want to have to paint my building again. For 25 years is a long time to not have to worry about the outside maintenance of your building as far as paint. That's a no-brainer. That's why Rhino Shield worked for me.
Are your neighbors jealous?
I would be if I was them.
Thanks, Rob. Now it's time to call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. Genius.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
I'm losing my self-control. Yeah, you're starting to trickle back in.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Cross my heart, I won't do it again. I tell myself, draw the line. Not do I do, but once in a while I trip up and I cross the line. And I think of you. 2 years and just like that, my head still takes me back. Thought it was done, but I guess it's never really over. Oh, we were such a mess, but wasn't it the best? Thought it was done, but I guess it's never really over.
All right, boys, it's time that we talk about this thing.
Which one?
Star Wars.
Time to talk about Star Wars. Yay.
I'm going to talk about the thing I'm going to talk about, and the men in our audience are going to be thinking about Star Wars the whole time.
Mm-hmm. They're going to be thinking about Mando. They're going to be thinking about Baby Yoda. They're going to be thinking about Gina Carano.
Okay, so I know what he's going to be thinking about. Bleeders is the term that is out here. I don't know what this is specifically. Kyle Kashev, I don't know how to say his name, on Twitter. He's like a blue check, I guess, reporter. Do you know more about him?
Kyle Kashev was one of the kids from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas.
Okay.
He was the conservative David
Hogg.
Hogg.
Yeah. So he tweeted this, and It's a screenshot of the founder and CEO of Yoppie, Yoppie.
Not really into Yoppie.
Daniela Perry. This is what she says. Most bleeders know how they are impacted by their period, but unfortunately aren't in touch with their feelings and symptoms in the other phases of their cycle. We are here to change that. What in the fresh hell is bleeders? What in the world is this? It is Women's History Month, and women are not allowed to be the only people who bleed. What is happening? I know that this is disgusting. I know that, like, I've seen the demographics of people who listen to this show. I know you're all men, but listen, you're men. There's a separation of who gets. Let's just talk real facts here. I get bonused if a certain age group of men listen to my show. What if the bleeders listen to my show? There's no demographic on a piece of paper that breaks down the bleeders. No, because it's women. Because there are persons, there are men, and there are women, and I am a woman. And yes, that part of life is part of my life. But I'm here to tell you folks and gentlemen who may not be thinking about this, and you don't know how to have these conversations because it's an insane world and it's not something you want to talk about anyway, and you're afraid to call someone a woman. You're like, I am not calling that person a bleeder. There are women who don't bleed. There are women who are incapable of bearing children, and it is the biggest burden that they bear in their lives because they want to have children, but they don't, in fact, bleed. And now, somehow or another, you're trying to segment a group of people, a demographic of people on the face of this planet by whether or not they bleed, as if that's something that intrinsically gives that person value. This is the opposite of feminism. Postmodern feminism hates women, degrades women, separates women, and takes away the things in their lives that actually make them women and in positions where women can participate and gain notoriety for things that they do. And now anybody can do it. Being a woman is so accessible that literally any man can do it if you choose to. It's unbelievable. And I'm sitting here like this is one of the subjects that I think about and I sometimes don't talk about because I become irrational, which is something that women do. That I get emotional and I become. You want to comment, or are you just going to sit this one out for right now?
Yeah, I just completely disagree with you.
I mean, it's something that is so bonkers upside down and inside out for me, and everybody knows it, everybody sees it, and everybody's afraid to say anything about it. And the reason they're afraid to say anything about it is because you're afraid you're going to get slapped with some sort of label that you know doesn't describe who you are. It has nothing to do with your intent. You're just like, I kind of used to be a feminist, and women for votes for women. My daughter says that because she loves Mary Poppins, and that's a great movie about feminism, which is really funny because all she ever does is what her husband tells her to do, and how her husband tells her to do it. Watch it again. It's great. Feminism used to be about equality and putting people at the table and listening to what they had to offer from their brains, out of their mouths, into the conversation and treating that equally. But no, then it became, no, we need to have not just the best at the table. We shouldn't be discriminating against women. We need to have a certain number of women so that not because we think that's what's best for the company, but then we can brag about it because it's a virtue that we can signal to the world about how great we are, that we even let the women at the table. That's pretty much what they're saying. And then it became, we're so virtuous that we let women at the table who aren't even women so they could all be men, but we're going to call them women so we're awesome at everything. It makes no sense, and it makes me so mad and bleeding as the foundational basis of what you want to call people who can bear children and who can't bear children because you're afraid of offending people who want to identify as something else. You can look at all of this and include into the conversation people who want to identify as something else and not degrade those people without having to shut out an entire, gender of individuals who are women. There is this phrase that's called, I am woman, hear me roar. That's like used to be a thing that you should be able to stand up and shout your womanhood, but we can't even define what being a woman is anymore. I can, because I am one, and I will do it. And you're not defined by whether you bleed or you don't bleed, because the people who you are leaving out, listen to this, on Facebook, probably now, And in the next couple of weeks, you are going to see people sharing on your Facebook profile, probably on Twitter too, reminders that on April 1st, do not make jokes about being pregnant. Don't come out and say April, oh, it's an April Fool's Day thing. I thought I was pregnant, or I said I was pregnant, but just kidding, April Fool's. People will share that because that becomes people who cannot bear children, who has struggled with infertility, see that, and it becomes a sensitive issue for them. I question, all of the extra sensitivities that we have in the world, but the very virtue of bleeding has to do with your ability to bear children. That's why it happens, right? That's why women do it, because women bear the children. And if you don't believe me, Beyonce says it in Who Run the World. And the answer to that question is girls. So
Okay.
take it up with Beyonce. Strong enough to bear the children, then get back to business is the line in that amazing song. None of that can exist in this world that people are using to call women bleeders. Beyonce, who is supposed to be, and I kind of get it, a feminist icon for everybody of all walks of life to look to, has a song called Girls that explains what girls in a feminist America get to do. And even that is out of date today. That's how you know we've lost our minds. And if everybody around you is insane and you're looking around and seeing the world has lost its ever-loving mind, you don't have to participate in it. And that's my rant.
Well, that's the last time I ever shop at.
I'm going to go take my Midol and let you boys handle it and clean this mess up.
Thank you. What's the company's name again? Yoppy. That's the last time I ever shop at Yoppy, Annie.
What can you buy there?
I don't know. Also, last night,
Is
I saw
anybody
you
still
tweet this out.
listening? Did everybody hear me
Everybody's
say
gone.
bleed?
Everybody's
Everybody heard me say bleeders. I
Bleeders,
blacked
uh-oh,
out.
kids.
They changed the channel and there's
We gotta
nobody
go.
left here.
I got a text from my wife.
What, she agree?
She said, haha, you and Ryan look so uncomfortable. LOL.
Yeah, you are.
We are.
Yes.
Also, here's
That bleeder's going off again. My
Yeah.
gosh.
well, the bleeder in the room's talking. So yeah, let her talk. Y'all are finished.
Hey, don't get me wrong. I can make you bleed too.
That's my point. That's actually what I was
Right?
going to say. Is that last night I was doing my taxes. This is the worst way for me to explain that I was bleeding. But I was doing my taxes, and that's not a euphemism. I was actually doing my taxes, and I got a
You're not
paper
supposed
cut.
to bleed when you do your taxes.
I know, like you're supposed to be doing something. I was out
For real
fixing the
or
car
in the
something,
euphemism?
No, and yeah, gross. I got a paper cut on my finger, and I started bleeding. And then within an hour, I saw your tweet, and I'm like, hey, but I bleed. Am I a bleeder?
You know what? If you want to be.
Well, the point of the whole word is where you bleed from. So why call people bleeders when everybody can bleed? It's so stupid. Stupid Yoppy.
Brad?
I think this person that wrote this is an idiot. I'm so tired and so over this. It's like they're dancing around ways of calling a woman, and so we're just going to change this because, it doesn't fit with our narrative. Let them go off the rails. Let them go insane. I'm fine with it.
Which one would get me fired faster? If I went up
Wait,
to one of our...
wait. Is this just going to affect your career or the
mine,
show's?
just mine personally.
Okay, then go ahead.
So I'm in a meeting with corporate whoever's, and to one of the women, I call them either woman or I call them bleeder. Which one gets me fired faster?
I'm not going to say anything that's going to get me fired. I just thought through about 7 things I could say, and I'm going to say when we come back, Hannah's going to come in and give us the update to the polls. Hannah, who potentially also is a bleeder, but we don't know. We haven't asked her that yet. I mean, is it like the comment
what
she
a
read?
weird conversation.
Is it not like this is where you're watching the movie and you're like, I can't do this anymore.
Yes.
I know this has been ridiculous. I've been kind of following along. The dialogue's been interesting, but you lost me there. I'm turning on Tucker Carlson.
It's really close to birthing persons. It's a little bit worse though.
It's
a lot
offensive.
worse.
I mean, truly.
I mean, your point would be that they're pretty similar.
And like, I know that I'm being kind of like ragey and stuff on this, but I really am telling you that the whole point of what feminism was supposed to do, when you boil it down to whether you can have children or not, that is so incredibly hurtful to people, and they don't give a crap about that. And I almost said another bad word. We better go to break. Is it 2:38? Can you still donate your car to Go to Well? They're gonna be. This is probably where this ends. And get 2022 Cardinal tickets at mercegoodwill.org. Use promo code Cardinals. Hannah is monitoring that YouTube poll in the live chat right now. Go get your votes in. We're getting close to 100 votes. Not quite there yet. Would love to include yours. What's your biggest concern today? Go vote. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
2 years and just
The Mark Cox Morning Show.
U.S. Senate approves bill to make daylight saving time permanent. The change would not take place until November of 2023 after input from airlines and broadcasters. I can answer it right now on behalf of broadcasters. Do it!
Weekday mornings 5 to 9.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-342-2054. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-342-2054. 800-342-2054. 800-342-2054.
back to doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet Store. Do you have a hard time getting out of bed in the morning because of a sharp pain in your heel?
I did. I had plantar fasciitis. I had a burning sensation on the bottom of my feet. I went to the Good Feet Store, and what a relief. And now I never go without my Good Feet support.
Are your knees and back killing you by the end of the day?
It was getting so severe, I almost stopped walking. I have no problems with my knees now. I couldn't believe how fast it helped me.
You deserve a better life too. Come to the Good Feet Store today.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive, Catty Corner from TGI Fridays, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Dearborn.
Thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Pain relief and comfort to fit any budget. Come in for a free test walk today. Good Feet products are proudly made in the USA.
When Richard Irvin decided to take on Pritzker for governor, he wasn't following a whim. He was answering a long familiar call to duty. Irvin joined the Army out of high school, served in Desert Storm, decorated for bravery. Surviving a brush with death in a dangerous war zone, Richard dedicated his life to service because he loves his country and knows how fragile freedom and security are. As a prosecutor, Irvin put thugs behind bars, drug dealers, gangbangers, 1,000 convictions, hired more cops and cleaned up crime as mayor, balanced budgets, passed property tax relief. When riotous looters came to town, Irvin shut them down. He knows we'll lose the country he fought for if the radical woke mob takes control. Irvin says all lives matter, that schools shouldn't teach kids to be ashamed of their color or country, that we'll take our state back if we have strong, service-minded leadership. And that's Richard Irvin, our next governor, paid for by Irvin for Illinois.
Mark Cox here. Guys, let Victory Men's Health help you regain your vitality by optimizing your hormones, vitamins, and sexual health. Victory Men's Health has the most cutting-edge technologies to treat ED. They have wave therapy. Listen, this is the biggest advancement for men with ED since the launch of Viagra. That's pretty incredible. They do the treatments in their office. Victory Men's Health offers wave therapy in both their Illinois and Missouri location. Check them out online today at victorymenshealth.com.
Going on now is our power equipment digital ad. 7 pages of deals on outdoor essentials like mowers, trimmers, blowers, chainsaws, and tillers from trusted brands like Cub Cadet, Steel, DeWalt, Echo, and more. These deals go until March 26th, and the ad is only viewable online at farmandhomesupply.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studios. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 53 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
If it's bumper to bumper or smooth sailing, Sue Thomas has you covered with dependable traffic. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company. The best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor. You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
If we bridge this gap, I can see you through the curtains of the waterfall. When I lost it.
All right. I have two things left on my list to talk about, and Hannah's in here. We're talking. So the last two things are Star Wars nerds and woman-splaining.
Star Wars Nerds has a story behind it?
Well, I was talking with Brad. I don't even remember how we ended up getting to talk about this.
It's because I was wearing a Star Wars shirt.
No, I didn't know you were wearing a Star Wars shirt when I was talking about Star Wars nerds. And then
You were
he's
probably
like,
just thinking about Mando. And
It was something
Yoda.
Ryan said.
Gina Carano.
Gina Carano. And
No.
by the way, it's Grogu. I just said
Grogu.
It's not Grogu.
Dang it.
Womp, womp.
I meant Grogu. You know that. What's the story?
I don't remember.
It was about the hotel.
Yeah, we were talking about the Disney hotel.
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna have to stop with the voice.
Well, I know what it is.
I just can't tell when you're
When I'm
mocking
joking.
the show or when you're participating. And I gotta tell you, I have a default assumption.
Same.
Yeah, the old Disney hotel there.
Would you ever? Is there any affinity that you have that you would dress up in character for?
Ooh. I
The
will
Mark
say
Reardon
this.
show.
Yeah, I would try to dress up like Mark Reardon because I just love that show.
You don't? Do you have any like costumes for any shows or anything like that at home?
I have a Star Trek costume that I got at a garage sale.
Just
but it was
one?
just because it was easy. Two for the price of one.
Man, you guys are nerds.
I know,
Hannah,
but it was a good costume.
Hannah, you want to judge him?
Go ahead.
I don't even have any comments to make regarding that.
I specifically though went to Disney in November because I had
Mhm.
gone 2 years ago during the height of COVID, and we didn't get to ride everything. And I really, really, really wanted to ride Twilight Zone, Tower of Terror, and I didn't get to ride it. And so when we went back to Florida, I was very sure to ride that ride because I love the Rod Serling version of Twilight Zone.
Did you fly the Millennium Falcon?
I think we did that the first time, yeah, but not the second time.
So I said there is not a single, like, I have no costume that I can wear in my possession. Why are you laughing? Can you like what costume would I own? I wore the giraffe. We talked a little bit about that because Ryan said every time he logs onto YouTube, it's like, you should watch October 29th, 2021 Annie Frey Show.
Every time.
It's
Like, why that show?
I was there.
Yeah.
What giraffe?
So for Halloween last year, I said if we made it to, I think, 16,000 likes on Facebook, that I would dress in a costume of the crew's choosing. And I wore a giraffe costume for the entire show.
Just a normal giraffe?
Well, I mean, what other kind is there?
Yeah, it could have been a sexy
Giraffe
giraffe.
costume. Yeah, it wasn't a sexy giraffe.
Yeah, 'cause I picked sexy clown.
I
remember?
was not with the
thinking
giraffe. I made that thing sexy.
A bleeding giraffe.
And if you don't know,
Oh. Here's your costume back, Johnny Brock.
That's what you guys picked, was a giraffe?
Hannah, yes, yes. We walked around Johnny Brock's. I'll show you the video. They looked at all of the costumes that Johnny Brock's had to offer, and they picked.
That was just the most disgusting segment I've ever listened to.
I know.
How do you feel being referred to as a bleeder?
That's disgusting. If anybody ever said that to me, I'd be really offended. I don't like that.
It's really dumb, and it is.
It is dumb. I don't. Who would ever want to be called that?
It's inclusive, though.
It's specifically exclusive.
Yes.
It makes no sense.
Everybody bleeds, though.
I could see if you had a costume like Minnie Mouse or something like that.
No, they weren't nice about it. I said I
No,
would.
you said if I had to pick a
yeah.
costume that I think you would wear, it'd be like Minnie Mouse.
Would it surprise you? With
Not in
my-
a pantsuit though.
No, heck no. That red and white polka dot dress is legendary. Would it surprise you if I said that I own exactly 0 pairs of Minnie or Mickey ears?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would surprise me.
Not a single one.
I would figure they would be everywhere.
Not only am I not really into dressing up in costumes, but I will not be wearing ears in an amusement park.
But do you wear matching shirts?
We have done matching shirts specifically for a photo. Like it's not like every day has a shirt.
Well, I think I can rest my case. I'm not sure what my case is, but it is now rested.
Man, it's like arguing with liberals. I hate it. Clearly, I'm right and you're a moron.
Keep changing the argument.
Yep, exactly. No, I just am not a costume person. So you have not 1 but 2 Star Trek costumes.
Yeah.
You have
Jedi robes.
I've got, as you know, I've got a whole bag.
That
full
doesn't
of
count though,
costumes.
because you did like TV stuff. So that's not
Yeah,
like.
but I didn't ever have to dress up like a California raisin for TV. I've got a lot of stuff in there that makes no sense. So I've got probably more than all of you combined in that one bag.
If you're watching the live stream or if you're in this room right now, he like started to make that case and you could see him slowly retreat from, this is making me look not great. I shouldn't have brought this up. I'm volunteering too much information.
That's not true. I stand by it. I'm
You
proud
should
of that
now.
bag.
You should now.
I'm
You're like,
going all
you're
in
like
now.
Jussie Smollett. I'm
Yeah.
I'm innocent.
Yeah. If I am not committing suicide tonight. I promise you that. That bag is a proud moment
Is
for me.
he in regular jail right now? Because they put him in like the psych ward.
I don't know where he's at right now, but it was one of you two said this is all part of the defense strategy to have him stand up and say that. And it absolutely is, because now they're saying, oh, he's in danger. We need to get him out of there. That was part of the thing the whole time. That's why he stood up and said that. And it was planned probably weeks ago.
I can't stand it.
It's so crazy.
The biggest punishment that he could suffer is complete and total irrelevance.
Well, yeah, I mean, hopefully anybody, the problem is that people crave publicity so bad that somebody might hire him just because everybody would be talking about it. I mean, that's the only way that he's going to get a job.
He still has to work with people. I don't think he can work with people. He is delusional. He's not with it.
I don't know. Actors are not principled people. They will do a lot of things for a paycheck.
He's in jail for putting a noose around his neck, paying 2 black guys to attack him in Chicago in frigid temperatures, and suggest that somehow or another it was a racial hate crime against gay people in Chicago, Illinois at like 3 a.m. And people yelling, "This is MAGA country."
This is MAGA
no,
in
this
Chicago.
This is not MAGA country. This has never been MAGA country. This will never be MAGA country. This is Chicago, Illinois. What are you doing? You did not think this out.
You trying to drive those crazy windy streets in San Francisco? You get out of here. This is MAGA country.
It's like, what are you talking about? This isn't even believable. I don't care how good of an actor you are. You're not selling this one to the American people.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which is why when you listen to Dave Chappelle do his Juicy Smollett thing, which is just one of the best things that comedy has ever done. And he talks about how people were criticizing, I think he was talking about the African-American community for not speaking up for Juicy Smollett. He goes, you don't understand. We are supporting him with our silence. It's like we're keeping our mouth shut because if we open our mouths, it's not going to be helpful.
Yeah, those tweets didn't age well from President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris.
Not the only ones.
And lots of others.
The poll on the Annie Frey YouTube channel today was 75 votes in, and I'm going to try to put these up each night. So I will tweet out the link for the next day's YouTube live, and you can vote on the poll, and we're going to make these part of the daily conversation. What is your biggest concern today? Tell us, Hannah, what the results are. Do you have the latest results?
I have the results from 74 votes.
Okay.
So
those 3 a.m. votes, they get you every time.
Yes. So the question was, what is your biggest concern today? The options were World War III, economy, race relations, or government overreach. The biggest concern was economy with 36%. Then it was World War III with 31%.
Oh, it's pretty split then.
A close spot for number 3 was government overreach with 30. So it was 30 to 31% with government overreach in World War III. And then at 3% was race relations.
I just think it's really interesting that World War III economy
was a
and
pretty
government
close-
overreach are basically a third of this poll, right? And that the people who are running this country are going to have to balance all 3 of those things. It's not possible to balance all, not from a political angle.
No. You know what's funny, though? We talk about, well, Trump would have done it this way. It's going to be very, very interesting if he runs again. Him having to come up with solutions now for problems that he had already fixed, and the environment's completely changed. You know, how do you run on changing things back?
Make America great again.
Yeah, but it's like Pandora's box has already been opened, you know? So it's like he can't apply the same solutions this time as he did last time.
I think that a lot of them can be.
Absolutely. I mean, economically, yes.
Well, no, but the border, oh my gosh,
That
everything
too.
that's on the southern border, he implemented. None of it is going through Congress because Congress can't find, they can't do it. And what Trump did was very much so executive order based, and what Biden did was very much so executive order based.
Well, the thing is what Biden came in and did was essentially from day one, Trump did this, so I'm doing that. He did opposite of Trump. That was his whole policy. And so we got opposite of what Trump was doing, which is bad economy, open border, and now war with Ukraine.
Well, I think I'm thinking specifically about foreign relations here because, after I said it, I'm like, you know what, economy and even the border, you can shut the border down, but a lot of the damage has been done. We've got by the time, if nothing changes, we'll have like 8 million more people in this country.
Not to keep coming back to this, but you do have to stop the bleeding. Get it?
Man, if that was right before the out cue, that would have been perfect.
Follow that.
I can't.
But don't you think foreign policy was also because Biden appeared weak and Trump was strong on the world
let's go to
stage?
this here real quick because I find this to be incredibly interesting. Fox News reporting now deleted Kamala Harris tweet claimed U.S. is supporting Ukraine, quote, in defense of the NATO alliance. They're reporting that this has had an actual effect.
That tweet?
That there's concern that this tweet has caused problems because the United States is out there openly affiliating Ukraine and NATO and us, and the tweet has now been deleted.
She acknowledged that was a stupid tweet. I mean, she acknowledged, okay, I messed up, but so
when I was in Poland, I met with U.S. and Polish service members, thanking them for standing with our NATO allies for freedom, peace, and security. The United States stands firmly with the Ukrainian people in defense of the NATO alliance. Whoops. That's 2 times a day. I hate it. All right, Margaret Show coming up next.
Well, do you have dental anxiety? Do you get nervous about going to the dentist? And maybe that's why you haven't been in a while. I don't, but my wife does. And typically kids do. For some reason, it's like a scary place to go. But if it's any testament to the fact that Ty Parker and Fountains Family Dentistry are not a scary place to go, and he's not a scary dentist, my kids love going there. I think it's because they get a little gift bag when they go with a fun Toy Story toothbrush in it and stuff like that. And my wife is fine there too. She says the staff is just so friendly that she never really worries about it. Leading up to it, I have to remind her of that fact because anxiety never goes away. But great experience. So if you are in that camp, Fountains Family Dentistry in Fairview Heights is a great place to go simply because when you walk in, everybody's just nice and friendly and they'll get you in and out and you don't have to waste a whole lot of your day doing something you know you got to do anyway, which is to get your teeth cleaned. FountainsFamilyDentistry.com is where you can go to make an appointment. It's in Fairview Heights, Illinois. FountainsFamilyDentistry.com.
This is a great time of the year to upgrade the energy efficiency in your home with my friends at Window World. Mark Cox here to tell you more about my experience with Window World. They replaced a couple of windows at my house. They were just panes of glass. We wanted to be able to get some airflow into the master bathroom. They came out, they gave us a free estimate, and then had the windows at seams installed in no time. Very professional, lifetime warranty I get, and you get a great price, simply the best for less. They do front entry doors, rear entry doors. If you're looking to replace that back door or sliding glass door in your home, they've got a great selection at Window World. They're also right now offering 18 months, same as cash financing, of course, with approved credit. The preferred window of the St. Louis Blues, 314-993-1800, windowworld.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, or even with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Affordable term life insurance is out there. Call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-481-1458. 800-481-1458 or visit biglou.com. Remember